What's going on, Maxie?
What's up? I've been doing notes, dude. I've been hammering in on them notes.
You have been hammering in on the notes.
I've been scraping through the internet on all that's happening in RC. You know.
I know. Now this podcast is all about RC news, and I am going to try to stick to script because you make all these fancy notes and then I just do whatever the fuck I want. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like,
then we take a 1.5 hour tangent on something not irrelevant, but irrelevant to the podcast.
But I bought something for you. I shared this on the podcast the other day. Hold on. Let me find them. Let me find what I bought for you because it don't seem like secret words don't what is the word? Safe words don't work for you. Yeah. Neither do if people saw me doing this like one podcast, I'm like I do hand signals to Max to
but you was too subtle with them. You was like, oh, I'm gonna show you this when
I did. I dropped
wrap it up. But you was so subtle. You was like, at the corner of the stream there, they could even see it.
Wrapped up in science mode, you just couldn't see it. But anyway, I went on Amazon and I bought you some timers, sand timers. So this is 10 minutes. We're not even using that. 5 minutes. And let's bring that.
That's for deep science mode, dude.
And we have a 3 minute. We are not using 10 minutes. So if you are not, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay.
But this podcast is all about RC news, so let's stop jibber jabbering and let's get crack-a-lacking.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
You know? See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
it. Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 289 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. And joining me, the man that everybody loves to hate or hates to love him, the one and only common roach, Maximus Middleman Mort. Wow, how the mighty has fallen. You went from professor of everything, nations, to middleman Max to common roach. The mighty have fallen. The mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I've been usurped. By the way, my girlfriend's fucking into Game of Thrones, all that kind of shit.
I love Game of Thrones, by the way.
Yeah, this new season of House of Dragon.
House of Dragon. I've only seen one episode so far.
Okay, but
I don't have hold on. Before you go any further, I don't have Max. I can't get it due to being in the DR. So if anybody wants to lend me their Max account, let me know.
Yeah, but basically there's this whole usurping situation. And you called me the master usurper because I said you're not part of the resistance, mm-hmm. that whole shebang. So
you know what? You and your girl, you look like you probably belong on Game of Thrones. All you need is some really just dye your blonde hair silver. Platinum. Yeah. You could be House Targaryen. But I believe it or not, I am a bit, look, dude, when we ain't doing nothing at the races, we're watching Game of Thrones. Lance is a big fan of Game of Thrones. I've read all the books. I read all 6 books.
Really?
Yes. And some books are like 1,000 pages.
Yeah, I know. I never watched Game of Thrones, but my girlfriend got me into House of the Dragon.
You need to watch.
I think we have to watch Game of Thrones.
The first episode, you're going to be like,
yeah. And as a bonus, there's a lot of tits.
Well, we have a funny story. There's definitely a lot of breastises. Lots of intercourse going on in that film, that series. But it's I love Game of Thrones. I love the books. And there's a spin-off coming apparently too. I need to catch up on House of Dragons. But we're not here to talk about Game of Thrones or House of Dragons, which we could probably do a whole podcast on because they're so cool. We are here to talk about RC news. And this is show 289, Max. We're almost on 300, which is great. But before we go any further, I need to say some thank yous and some shout outs to our sponsors. But first, I need all of you, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that sub, like, notification button. Leave a comment, a share, helps us the algorithm. Leave a dislike if you don't like what we're doing. That's fine too. If you're listening to us on the audio only side of things, please come over and even if you don't watch it, just leave us a sub, a like, and a notification. It definitely helps us out. And if you're only listening to us on YouTube, go listen to us on just go over to the audio side and give us a view over there as well. It helps us all out in the algorithm. We greatly appreciate it. A big shout out to the NNRC squad around the world. Without you guys, none of this is possible. Don't forget, everybody, we have shirts and hats available for sale. And come see me at the races. I'll have some stickers. I'm giving those away. Big shout out to the YouTube members and NNRC patrons. You guys are about to have a bunch of early releases coming to you because I've been busy recording. We have a few one-off interviews with people coming up while I travel because I will be on the road starting next week. We will record, but I'll be on the road next week. If you wish to support the podcast financially, for the cost of a cup of coffee a month, you can support us. It greatly helps. Every little bit helps. Did I just burp online? I think I did. It greatly helps. Links for that in the written description of this podcast. You get early perks like early access to podcasts. And also, like, I'm very active on the Patreon, like posting up links and all that stuff. So if you're a patron, you can go to the Patreon and get all your links for like race videos and whatnot. I'm trying to keep it up to date on there. Also, we can't do this without sponsors. And we have in the written description of this podcast, we have links, affiliate links, coupon codes you can use, or just let people know that you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. It helps us out a lot. It's Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Corsatec USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Stacked RC, Racecraft USA, Elite RC Productions, and Donovan RC. Shout out to our drivers, the official No Name drivers: David Runafelt, Robert Battier, Alexander HagBerg, Matty G, Pekko Ivanen, Una Hutton, Mason Fuller. And shout out to our partners and affiliates. We can find links for all of those in the written description as well of this podcast. Real quick, we have quite a few birthdays we have to shout out. Big shout out to Magnus Berglund, my good friend from Sweden. He's been an avid supporter of the podcast from the very beginning. Happy birthday to you. Randy Jones, Tyler Jones' old man. Happy birthday to you. John Callis up there in Colorado. Pano Voss, Jonathan Villalobos. Happy birthday. Garrett Hawkbaker. Walker Spinrad. Happy birthday to you. Joe Jenkins. Happy birthday to you, sir. Dylan Johnson, Nate Sutherland, Hugo Ramirez, and David Garcia Jr. Happy birthday to all you guys. Nick Salto. Happy birthday to you. Mike Hempy, Andrew Thomas, Chad Buckland celebrated a birthday. He's a big contributor in our NNRC Discord. DJ Morin, well, I haven't heard from him from a long time. Paul Sykes, I think he's out in Hong Kong. Happy birthday. Michael Sharwin, and Argentina, one of Argentina's fastest racers who never travels, Agustin Cutini. Happy birthday to you. If we missed your birthday, everybody, we do apologize. We kind of, I don't get them all, so I do apologize for that. Max, I think, I actually have a NNRC mail call. And I have a catch up. I think, what should we do? Should we do the mail call first?
Yeah, let's do your mail call.
Let's do the mail call first.
Let's see what Santa brought you.
Let's see what Santa brought me. Alrighty, so Santa bought me a package a couple of weeks ago. I know who this is from. This is from Donovan RC. Thank you to Zach, is always sending me some goodies and some stuff like that. We got to get you some charger leads too, Max. Don't forget, today is Wednesday when we're recording this. It is Whip It Wednesday. We have not gone through the winners yet. Max and I have to do that next week, and then we'll present them on the next podcast we do. But July's Whip It Wednesday will start next week, actually. So I know it's supposed to start today, but we haven't picked the winner yet. So we'll start next week. But here's and Donovan RC sponsors that, too, by the way. So you can win a custom charge lead from Donovan RC. But let's get all fancy because this is an NNRC mail call. We are getting fancy, Max. Getting fancy. All right, let's see if I can do this and keep it in the camera frame. I'm still working on this. So I did pick up this. I know Zach said he has a new line called his AMP series of cables and stuff like that is trying to promote. I don't know much about him. I said, hey, send me a few. And he did, because Zach and I are good friends and is always hooking me up. I greatly appreciate it. By the way, we have a coupon code for that in the written description. So we have the Amped Up 2S balance lead, Amped Up 4S balance lead, Amped Up Dual 2S balance lead, and Amped Up Receiver 2S balance lead. So I've seen a few of these come out. Let's just get this out of her. Go away box. All right, so these look nice. So these are some of the best leads in RC, Donovan RC. I have a bunch of Donovan RC leads. Uh-oh, we got stuff falling her. So this is the Dual 2S. Is it 2S? Yeah, this might be 4S. But basically, you can charge up two. Let's open it up all the way. It looks like you can open up you can charge 2 batteries at a time. I might be wrong in thinking that.
Yeah. It's like a Y lead. So you stick that one in and then charge 2.
This
you
must be
basically charge 2S batteries as a 4S.
Hold on, what is this? Okay, this is the 2S. So this is handy for people who have, a lot of people are running saddle packs or dual battery packs.
Yeah.
Are people running 2S? Is it 2S batteries? Yeah, 2S batteries are running an e-buggy now. So this will be handy for you. You have your bullets, you have your charge ports. You can charge up those 2 batteries at a time. So that's good. Then we have a single amped up RC 4S Type A balance charger. So this is just a direct balance charger. This is XT60s that go right into my high-tech charger. This is a dual 2S balance charge lead, 24 inches. So this actually, let's open this up real quick. Max, I'm gonna have to get you some NNRC charge leads. Remember, guys, we have a coupon code for this. Okay, so this is just 2 leads. Okay, so dual leads. I've got trash all over here. Let's get that out of the way. So 2 leads. These things are sturdy, man. I mean, I've had mine forever, and they're still going strong. So we got 2 2S leads,
like
and
snakes.
then, excuse me.
It's like snakes.
I don't like snakes.
You don't?
Not at all.
Funny story. I had a pet snake, but then it died.
That's because they're supposed to be out in the free. And this is the receiver battery charger. So thank you, Zach, man. I appreciate it. Donovan RC, check out their new amped up series of leads. Let them know you can use our coupon code. You can save 10%. It's Nitro is the Glory as well. And let's get we're covered in leads. We got leads.
If you put them in your below your hat, you could look like Bob Marley.
I probably could. There we go. Sturdy leads. Thank you, Donovan RZ and Zach Donovan for the support, man. Like I said, he's become a good friend of mine over the years. He's also supporting us going into the Worlds. He became a gold sponsor, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, check him out. And don't forget, winner of Whip It Wednesday will receive not one of these, but a NNRC lead of your choice. So you just let them know which lead you want, what colors you want, and you'll get it with an NNRC logo on it. All right, Max, let's pack this away and let's catch up with us. All right, so thank you once again to Zach. If your company and you think this is a great platform to open or just debut some of your stuff, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to come from any of our sponsors. Hit me up, send me a message. I'll get you my address. If you're in Europe, You want Max to do it? We'll get his address and we can debut your product here on our NNRC main call. Exactly. I'm trying to get Max to get some. Well, you got to get a better camera setup, Max. You got to get all fancy, you know?
Well, yeah, I'll handle it. Okay.
Did you get a new microphone?
No, not yet.
You know what? It's time for us to catch up because you've been busy and I've been somewhat busy, not really too busy. But that is brought to you by Invisible Speed. And no, you do not get a free book with this order.
Stop scrolling. You want to be Lewis Hamilton? Learn something new with Invisible Speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No. You probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
That's right. Stop scrolling. We have affiliate links for all Invisible Speed products in the written description of this podcast. All right, Max. So we did do a podcast with Coach, which was pretty good, of the Raw Nationals Raw Nationals recap, which seems to be very popular. Go check it out. We'll leave a, here we go. We'll leave a link right there, or we'll leave a link in the written description of this podcast, or you can find it at the end of this podcast. So that was pretty good. You've been busy. You had a race this past weekend in Vasa. So touch on that real quick.
Yeah, I went to race. These days I've kind of quit practice. So I just don't practice anymore. I just race. Surprisingly, it hasn't been that bad. I crash all the time, but I'm still relatively fast. Like I can hold behind Pekka and Jona for a while, but then I'll just crash. But I think right now the level in Finland is kind of good enough where if I just don't do anything stupid, I'll finish behind them. But it's like these few youngsters, they've never even raced abroad. Christian Ullakko and Oivo Metsola. Like you're probably going to hear about these two because, actually Oivo went to the e-buggy Euros, but these two, insane. I think, they're still young, probably around 15, but really quick. And they're developing really fast. Like each race, they get closer and closer. So yeah, this was Christian's home track. So he actually beat me in e-buggy. So that's a bummer. But I had fun, I've kind of switched my attitude with racing where I try to have fun and not be stressed that, I need to catch this, 0.2 gap to Pekka and Jona, or even if it's worth bigger gap. Because I'm okay, this is where I'm at right now. I'm trying to have fun. And I'm having quite a bit of fun actually. So that's been good. I've liked racing recently.
Plus you have work going on. You're on summer vacation as well. So you are busy. I do appreciate your time. But you are not busy for the Worlds because we'll be there all week. I can't wait for that. This weekend we'll be calling the Euro Bs. I'll be doing most of it. You'll join. We're doing a co-op with RC Racing TV, and they're also co-oping with the ACAR, the Spanish Association, which we've been doing really good work as well. So I'm going to do in the commentary. You'll pop in, and I'm looking forward to it. I really think the Euro Bs is a good thing. Have you won the Euro Bs before?
No, I've never won it. I went way back. I think it's been over 10 years now when I last went. Yeah, but I went. I was thinking because I haven't gone. Last Euros I sucked so bad, and then I haven't gone to the Euros. Last time was 2019, so I think next year by the F rules I could technically go to B Euros again. So there's no rules. So I was thinking if it's at a nice place, maybe I go to B Euros myself.
Compete.
That would be fun. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to be taking it too seriously, but it's like a 3-day event. You don't have to be there a whole week. Usually, it's much more likely that there's actually like drivers from Mayako that we can support, and other drivers in general who want support. So organizing setup clinics and stuff could be more worthwhile there than the Euros. So
I think that's the great part about it, right? Is that like guys like Yao Figueiredo, I know that Yao's going as HOTRACE. I think Angaro's going to support people as well. I don't know if Robert's going, but the good thing about the Eurobs is that these fast racers who are good but not good enough to be pro guys, some of them might be young guys who are trying to be pro drivers. They get the support from that top driver at this race where he can focus on supporting them and not worry about his program, which I think is great. So forward to that. Where is it? It's in Spain, right? It's at
it's in Alicante, Spain.
Alicante has a track.
Yeah, there's like 5 tracks near.
Are you sure it's in Alicante?
I'm pretty sure.
I think you're wrong.
I know. All of the guys are in Redovan right now practicing.
Oh, I know. That's been like the last couple of weeks because they're gonna.
I think. Yeah, Ronefog was there with the Gotcho last week. Robert is right now in Redovan.
Is he?
Yeah, I was just chatting with him today.
It is in Alicante. Huh.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have to visit the track when we get there.
Yeah, it's not that far away. But
there's
like a lot of tracks. There's a lot of tracks nearby, to be honest. There's like plenty of tracks around there. Murcia has at least 1 or 2 good
Murcia's
tracks.
not too far away either. So
yeah.
All right. I have one question before I move into what I've been up to. Is JQ went to Ireland this weekend and he went to a Green Day concert. And he did some racing on his side at Bradley Baird's track, the RCNI thing. Is JQ boycotting your Finnish nationals? It seems like it ever since he was so upset that it fell on the same day as Euro warm-ups.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with him because he was at the Kyosho Masters last time.
He went to the Kyosho Masters.
So he's been somewhere every race so far. But I think he'd go to the race, the next one. I don't know. We'll see. If he doesn't come to the next one, then we can jump into conclusions. But so far, I think we just been unlucky with the dates.
He messaged me and goes, "When did Taylor Swift become so popular?" I was like, well, I don't know. I don't even really know much of her songs. She had 3 shows here in Ireland, 70,000 people all sold out each show. I was like, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right. I'm going to put my 5-minute timer on. Boom. Since we last talked, I went down to Santo Domingo to watch some on-road racing. No, Senesi didn't come. I was upset about that. There were some Senesi drivers there. Some Senesi GT cars. 5th scale was the biggest class. They had a C final. They had a few guys come from like USA, maybe from Puerto Rico. It was cool. It was fun. I haven't been to this track for quite some time. It's done in Santo Domingo. My son and I went. My buddy was supposed to go, but he bailed last minute. Like I'm waiting for him outside his house at 7 a.m. It's like, oh, I'm not going. We went on. I actually stopped at my buddy's he's like, there's toy collectors or action figure collectors. So it's a guy that I buy from her. He said, oh, stop in this mall. We're doing like a show, like they're selling stuff. So I stopped there, checked that out, met him for the first time. Then I went to it's just called the Miniodromino. I don't know the exact word, but it's like right on the water. Unfortunately, you don't feel any of that breeze because there's a wall there and you don't get it unless you're up in the driver's stand. It was very hot. That's all I'm going to say. But it was like packed. There was a lot of people there watching. A couple of old friends that I used to race with, like my boy Ricardo Velorio. Frank was there. Jesus Manuel. And just people that we used to race off-road. Frank was running. Velorio was running. And we just kind of sat off and just enjoyed that. I got some footage. It was some good racing. GT was fun. 5th scale was the best. Like I think the 5th scale race between Joel and then this other guy from Venezuela, and they almost had a fight afterwards, like because they bumped each other a couple of times. And it was like his crew, the guy from the Venezuelan crew, wanted to fight Joel's crew because they just it was fun. But it was great. I think that's the only thing racing here in the DR, and I think they're doing quite a good job. It still was like DR racing. The issue that they had was in Puerto Rico, they had an on-road race, big on-road race the week before. I think they need to space it out better so they get more of the Puerto Rican guys and more of the Latin American guys come up to this. They can't have it right after the Puerto Rican race. But yeah, it was good, man. I bought some parts for my Mugen GT. I traded some stuff for it. I got a body and some like spur and pinion gears. And my buddy Frank has convinced me to kind of just trick out my Mugen GT. It's a Mugen GT7, so it's a little outdated, but they haven't made another one. They only made one. So it's like, oh, you got to put some Mugen 8 MBX 8R arms on it, front and rear, front shock S-Works upper arms, because you want to get as little caster as possible, I think it is. Or it's either, I can't remember what you want from ONROAD. Actually, you want to push the arms forward, right? So you want to push the top arms forward. I need to get some MBX 8 rear aluminum hubs, and then we're going to make some carbon fiber. Like the GTs have these long link mounts, right?
Yeah.
Shorter link.
The tire high, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like also so it's like that. So the link is kind of like at an angle and it's shorter. So he's working on that. I got to figure out to get some part. I got to come up with about $300 to get all these parts that I need. And I'm going to do some GT racing here. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but I'll tell you what, the ultimate goal, I love his skill, right? I love his skill. After watching these things go, I'm just like, and they're not slow, dude. They're fast. Like they're
fast, but it's like,
no, it's no butt.
Too big.
The only but is they're expensive.
Yeah, well, that's like, I think it's just that when a man gets their first gray hair, fifth scale like has some kind of place in their heart.
Well, there we go. I have needed fifth scale for quite some time.
Yeah.
The goal is, I'm hoping by next year sometime, some way, somehow. I know this sounds far-fetched. I really would like a brand new one and like build it from scratch, like build it from a kit to there. But if I can find a secondhand one and I have the money, I'm gonna buy it. It's a popular class. It's what I want to run. And then they only had GT and fifth scale. They didn't have no 10 scale touring car. They do, but the track's nice, and I'm gonna do some racing. Like this is what I wanted. After doing this little bit of racing in the States here recently, I want to race more. And then, of course, as I'm recording this, I forgot to say, happy Independence Day. Happy July 4th to all of our American listeners, because this will be coming out on the Friday. And July 4th is, as we're recording this, tomorrow. Yeah, because today is the 3rd. That's another holiday I want to be in America for next year. That's the go. So happy July 4th to all of our American listeners. Please be careful with those fireworks. Have fun, drink lots of beer, eat lots of barbecue, and blow up fireworks. And be careful. But that's my goal. That's my goal, is to get a fifth scale and to get an operating GT for my son to race. And then I don't know, maybe if my daughter wants to race, we'll get something later on. So hey man, Mac Attack, all you guys, like I know it's a far fetch. You got an avid fifth scale fan here that wants to do some. Or dude, I saw like this Anassi GT. That thing's nice. Like they had I think he has what's the beginning for Genius? I saw a Genius fifth scale to a couple of them. Oof. Yeah. Beautiful. The
GT is like nice size because it's still like, you can hold it in your hand. And
well, I would, if I get a fifth scale, I definitely need to get one of them stands to work on it, but I love it, man. I want one so badly, Max. I cannot, like, I've talked about fifth scale. That's my retirement class. And that's like, I want to do a fucking world championship in fifth scale. Like, that's my goal one day. Like, I'm not bullshit. Like, I want to participate in a fifth scale world championship one day. So I hope to do that one day. I'd love to come to a fifth scale Euros. I've commentated on it, but not virtually. All right, Max, enough jibber jabbering about us. We've been going on. Both of us used up our 5-minute times. It's time to the topics of this podcast is all about RC news. So we are going over some stuff. We got some juicy stuff. We're going to go over a couple of race reports, look at some upcoming races, take a look at the NNRC Cup points after the Nationals. And then, of course, we have some beach RC questions and our hot race, hot picks, hot topic, hot potato. So this week's RC news is brought to you by our favorite servo and charger company, High Tech RC, who just released the RDX1 200 AC/DC multifunctional smart charger. Aimed at an economic budget of $79.99, High-Tech's new economically priced RDX1 200 is a compact and versatile charger designed to speedily charge your packs and meet the diverse needs of the entire RC community. Perfect for use or at home or on the go, the state-of-the-art AC/DC charger features a compact, durable, user-friendly, intuitive interface and bright LCD screen. It is easy to configure for all common battery chemistries and also ensuring safe and efficient charging. The RDX1 200 offers a full 100 watts of power when charging of a 120 volt AC current and up to 200 watts with a DC power supply. DC supply. It also features multiple models to help maximize performance of your batteries and their lifespan. The RDX1 200 is a dependable, flexible charging solution and a standout choice for its functionality, safety, and portability. Thank you, High Tech, for all your continued support. They have been a big avid supporter of the podcast, and they're also one of our big sponsors for the upcoming Worlds coverage that we will be doing in Redovan. All right, Max. So, hold on. I am looking at the wrong notes, sir. How did that happen? Of course, I have the wrong notes. I just had the right notes, but go ahead, Max. Let's start this off. You kick it off while I pull up the right notes, sir.
Yeah, well, I have to actually, before we go into any news, I have to make a correction to last week.
We do have some corrections from last week's podcast.
Because in hindsight, I don't know why I actually believe.
Did you get messages?
I didn't. I saw on Discord.
I got a couple.
Yeah,
I got a couple.
But the fuller laps at the Roar Main. So in hindsight, I don't know why I believed this. Then I was like, okay, maybe it's like possible because there was some huge track cut potential and at some point. But in hindsight, I don't think Fuller really pulled a 30.7. He said on his race report that he had some transponder issues. Most like what happened, the guy, the RD was just hand counting lap times. So he was just looking, Fuller went by and then added a lap and so on. But yeah. He was still fast, don't get me wrong, but not 30.7 fast. So, I mean, in hindsight, that's ridiculous because how would you go that?
We were just amazed by it. That's all. I forgot.
Yeah, but the thing is, because I just looked at the laps and they looked like real because there was like 31 something, and then it was like 30.7. So like, how could you like do it any other way? But I think. Yeah, if they hand counted, then sure. Yeah, then that could happen.
All right.
But I thought they wasn't allowed to hand count at.
They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to. But they did it for Tebow where he won the Nationals in 2017.
Yeah, because I think I mean you can add laps afterwards, but I didn't know you could just like hand count them, like just like press a key on the keyboard type hand counting. But yeah. Just a clarification. Fuller was fast, but not as fast.
Oh yeah, not that fast. Also, I was told that Little Bump got a DNF because his buggy was Truggy was underweight. That's why.
It's not a DNF. It's a disqualification.
Sorry, disqualification. Yeah. Thank you. I apologize.
Should I correct my name again to Professor Everything?
You're getting back. You're almost back to that.
Yeah.
We made some more errors.
He finished in 9th, but then he got a disqualification. So it wasn't like a biggie, but yeah. Did we get something else wrong?
Max was wrong, everybody.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad because I should have caught up to that. I don't know why I didn't think better of it. Now that I think about it, like obviously it's not possible.
All right, so that's a time step in history. Max admits he was wrong. We're not afraid to admit when we make errors on the podcast. We wasn't there, so we don't know everything. But I always get kind of filled in on this after the fact. So people start filling me in on everything that's going on and whatnot after the fact. But all right, Let's get on with some high-tech news. Now, this was a surprise for me. I just saw it in your notes. I missed it, but our good friend, I like this young man. He has joined Reds. So it looks like Joey Bourdon, the techno driver, young up-and-coming techno, he's only about 17 now. He has joined Reds Racing. So Reds expands on their ever-expanding team of racers, right? So good stuff to them. It's a good job. I think it's a great decision for Reds. I think it's a great move for Joey. I'm guessing like Techno has completely given up on doing those block engines now. It seems like it. So
yeah. It's weird because when Lutz was running for them, everyone, him, Born Horse, everyone ran block. I think Tebow for a while also ran the block engine, if I'm not totally wrong.
He might have tried it. I know. Remember he ran MX for the longest while.
Yeah, he ran MX for a long while, but then when MX went away, I think I could be wrong, but I have a faint memory of him running block. At least Wiggins ran it, but now Wiggins and Nova, Mayfield's obviously got his own thing.
That's of course. Because people have to make that they have to make that money, right? So they have to
and I think well, I don't know. Do they make the block anymore? They might, but I do remember. I do remember there was a time where a lot of these companies kind of stopped making engines because it was quite expensive. So unless you was like successful. So, for example, Ultimate, they sell like a huge amount of engines. So for them buying from OS, it's fine, you know. But I mean, if you think of it logically, you buy an engine from OS and try to compete with OS with pricing, like it's not going to happen, you know. So you have to cut your profit somewhere.
I think a lot of people are getting hip to buying the engines in Japan too. Like you could buy this and get them really cheap. So
and to be honest, saying this with experience now from multiple engines and engine brands, and seeing from side people running all these Ninja, SMJ, all these engines, I do think the OS manufactured engines do have something a bit special compared to all of the rest. Granted, now Ultimate does a whole lot of their own things. So they introduce their own backplates, their own engine heads, all that kind of stuff. And there are many manufacturers who kind of do that. So for them, obviously, they can change stuff. But for a lot of these brands who just print and copy or buy a OS and say this is ours, then it's tough. It's tough because I think OS make sure that their engines are the top of the line and the others are what's left,
Well, a prime example is the new Dakota Fan engine that can go 10 minutes, no problem, with the Ultimate engine, which you saw them do at the Nationals here. So they have been working on their own thing, and that's the thing, right? I think we're starting to see these engines. They have plenty of power. That's not a problem. Probably too much power. We're seeing these engines being modified for longer runtime. As well. So that's the big thing now. Let's keep it on engines, Max, because you did mention Nova and Cavallari, my hero who finished 5th at the Nationals. Not do that ever. Max, next time you doubt the GOAT, we are demoting you to, I don't even know, the lowest part of the totem pole of the list. But do you want me to bring it up, or do you got it right there, Max?
So I'll bring it up.
So Cavallari running for Nova now. Nova engines, which is basically Nova Rossi, but different. So he just announced as soon as Max gets it up. So something with Cavallari's engine here. Let's bring this up. Maybe we zoom in.
Basically he has a new backplate and so on, and better runtime and torque, blah blah blah. Marketing speech. But the interesting thing here. Let me fix this.
Can you zoom in on that backplate?
It's the backplate, because you remember that Red's rotor
has like a bearing on, like a disc. rotating on the back.
Well, yeah, but this is kind of the same idea, but it's, very differently done. So instead of having like a whole mechanical backplate that would rotate around the disc, they have drilled holes from the top of the backplate to the center of the backplate. If I visualize this correctly, you're gonna have some of the fuel and by that lubrication going into this hole, and obviously with that also some pressure. So you're gonna have more pressure on the backplate here, which is gonna not allow the crankshaft
to rub. To rub on the backplate. So,
and also I do think this reduces, because many people said the main thing about the rotary backplate was actually the friction between the lubricant moving, because there's going to be like even though they don't rub physically, there's going to be that lubrication between that has some friction. So I think this would reduce that as well. Obviously, it's not the same mechanics and so on, but I do think you can, especially if you have some air going there, then you'll definitely have that type of effect. But it's a very interesting design. I think backplate has been a very big point of innovation recently.
So basically, for those of you watching listening to an audio, we have the video up here, pictures up here. So the Red's backplate has like a disc that rotates, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's a very thin disc in between the connecting rod and the backplate, because you always see where it's a little bit of play on the connecting rod and it kind of rubs up against the backplate. It's always been a normal thing, but I think it hinders, it causes premature con rod failure, all that type of stuff, right? So Reg chose to use a backplate to keep it off that, like a rotate that rotates with the connector rod. This basically does the same thing, but they're using lubrication as their disc per se, and pressure to keep it off the back of the backplate. So we see companies just trying different things. This is what we kind of wanted from these companies like Nova, Nova. And notice it's named a B5.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think if you look at this thing, if you ever see an Nova Rossi, they are going for the same style, and I think all in all, even the font is the same. If you look here,
let's go back. All right. Let's go back. Look at it.
Yeah, if you look at the font on the Venturi, it's the same as Nova Rossi font.
Even so I don't think Nova.
Yeah,
it would be Nova, and then it would have been Rossi down the side, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
interesting stuff. But
yeah,
I know that these engines were plagued with some quality issues in the beginning, but they seem to have gotten over that. Let's see what it holds in the future, because a lot of guys are running them now. Well, not a lot, but a good bit of guys, and I would definitely like to see Nova come back. All right.
Oh, 100%. I wanna say, because I think it's interesting the way it has kind of developed, because they kind of started off a bit iffy, like you said. They had all those quality control issues, but now the price point is quite good considering everything. I do think they still have some advantages, because when Nova Rossi went out, they still had the best mileage. So I think, and the drivability was good. So I think if they can make it more, how would you say, reliable in terms of the tune, and it just doesn't flame out, I think they have a shot of actually bringing back something. Because you can see Reds, they brought out the Super Veloce, and now people are actually enjoying the Reds engine. And they are actually, having they are choosing Reds over OS. I do still believe OS is number one, but I think there is going to be more competition in the engine market soon.
I don't know. Every time I put up this damn thing, my camera goes out of focus. So Pay attention, Max. Yeah, more people choosing Reds and Reds be getting back in that market share. But now Nova's coming as well. Up next, a new type of dyno is coming. What's all this about? Mini Pro dyno for engine motors, Max.
Yeah, so I just saw this on Live RC, this thing, and I was like, well, what the hell is this? I checked out the company, and they actually do all kinds of dynos for RC. But I think the difference between this dyno and the other dynos is that this is actually made for nitro engines. So if I understood correctly, the other dynos are made for electric engines. You test out those. But this one looks like you can attach your nitro engine straight to the dyno and then test it out, how much power. And I think this is actually very interesting because you could actually get some numbers out of your engine on how much power it has. What does the torque curve look like? What the different pipe setting does. If you introduce like a laboratory setting to your engine, you know, what the certain type of air, you know, pressure, certain type of humidity, fuel, Venturi, anything, like all of these little things that we question. I at least think all the manufacturers should, or engine manufacturers should have something like this if they don't already have. Because if it is like how I think it is, like an actual working dyno that you can get reliable data out of, it's like it could be quite revolutionary for the engine market.
Well, absolutely. Instead of just going off feel, we'd be going off actual numbers, right? Actual numbers. That makes a big difference. So interesting stuff. I saw some people in the comments complaining about price. No, this isn't for everybody. You know, it isn't for everybody.
Yeah. And I think it's silly to think that everyone would have their own dyno. You know, like not everyone needs an EBIS, you know, like EBIS is for, like, let's say your local hobby shop, they sell engines, they have an EBIS, you know, and they offer that service. Like you don't have a CNC, not everyone has like a Haas CNC machine at home because that costs like $100K, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing.
I would agree there. All right, up next in the tools side of things, or innovation, this caught my eye. I added it to our notes. Was the Laseris setup station. Red RC broke this for us earlier. So did you have a chance to look at this at all, Max? It's so
yeah, I saw it too.
Coming from the US based Dork Missile Performance is the Laseris setup station, which is available for both 10 scale and 8 scale. This tool measures camber and toe at the same time in half-degree increments using a class 1 laser to pinpoint the setting. Camber can be measured from -1 to -3 in half-degree increments, while toe will be measured either in toe in or toe out from 1/2 to 4 degrees in half-degree increments. The laser is rechargeable via standard USB connector and lasts for 16 hours of use. The target uses a reflective paint to produce a bright red reflection once the desired setting is reached, making it undeniably clear when the setting is reached. The laser is strong enough to be visible in sunlight. The uprights are tall enough to clear most wings without removal for 10 scale cars, and they secure against the wheel hex to eliminate additional movement associated with other systems. High traction clay, turf, carpet tracks will benefit from the half-degree increments of adjustments and gains. The Laseris kit is designed to work with 10 scale off-road and on-road cars, while the Laseris 8 is for 1/8 scale on-road and off-road. Packaging was designed to minimize workspace footprint and to avoid taking up too much space. Dude, this is like perfect for people who want to travel with one of these things.
Yeah, it's like a setup. I mean, one thing I'm a little bit iffy on is that it's quite a narrow range of measurements, and it's also quite big increments because you get like a half-degree increments, and it's really hard to say like if you're at the top of one or at the bottom of one. But to be honest, for most people, if the price point is good, I think this could be actually really cool.
I think you need one of these. I think you need a Laseris setup station. We should hit up Dork Missile Performance and get you one. Because
It
you
could
can
be
really
interesting. This looks like the idea is amazing because
Mhm.
I think like this is how you should do it. Like have
well,
a
everything's
system.
getting. This might be the next step because the setup stations are kind of been the same for like 30 years.
Yeah.
I have one here that I've fucking never used. Right, I have a Team Magic one. It's very nice. It's very compact. It folds up nice. All that type of stuff. Combine this with the other like pit boards, like getting completely flat pit boards that are very lightweight that you can travel with and put in your backpack and all that stuff. I think this is ideal for anybody who's definitely traveling. We need to hit up Dork Missile and see if we can what price they'll give and get you one and get you testing it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Do you think things like this is what's going to help improve? Like, I mean, because what it is, right? Off-road stuff's so sloppy, like especially 8 scale stuff. So, I mean, does that make a difference? Because, like you can
To be
do
honest,
all this.
I think coming back like 10 years from now to this point,
Mhm.
I think, the quality of the cars it has improved a lot.
Mhm.
A lot. Like, yeah, X-Ray has been pretty similar quality all along. They've been high quality all along, but especially the plastics and the how do you make the plastics so that you can make RC cars. That has improved so much from since at least when I started. And if you was driving RC in the 90s, I bet it was much, much worse. So I think it could be a time where 8-scale cars actually wasn't that sloppy anymore.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of cars are like too tight now. Like if you dry them out of the box, like when you get
That's
them
breaking.
dirty,
They have
yeah,
to fit in.
yeah. Like for example, I don't know if it was you or someone talked about Ty Tessman having to like remount the arms because it was too tight on the X-ray. I know for a fact that I drill out all of the armholes to 0.2 bigger than the thing because as soon as you introduce a little bit of dust, everything clogs up. So you need a little bit of room for play, especially with hinge pins. With links, I think the ball type of links they are much more secure, but hinge pins are those that really get stuck.
Wallow out. All right.
Yeah.
Up next is some R1 Works aluminum hubs for the front aluminum hubs for the B7. Tell us the story on this, Max. They look really trick. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I have a B7, I think I want these on my car because they look cool.
Yeah. Well, I think the coolest thing is not the looks. Actually, the coolest thing is what they allow you to do with the car.
I'll explain.
So by adding shims, so that's a 2-piece knuckle basically.
Mhm.
So the axle and the steering arm is in the lower piece, and then the upper piece attaches the knuckle to the C hub. So
Gotcha.
with these 2 screws, you attach these, and between those 2 screws, you can put shims.
Mm.
So as soon as you put more and more shims, the angle between the upper and lower part of the knuckle, increases. So let's say you put 2 millimeters of shim, then you have an X amount of KPI more. So let's imagine, well, I'd say looking at this, I'd say a millimeter shim should equal to somewhere about degree and a half, maybe even 2 degrees, but around there of KPI. So you could add KPI to any position you want, and then you would just adjust the camber link to straighten it out.
I have a question. We got 3 minutes. What washers are you talking about? Are you talking about these blue washers up and top and on the bottom, or here?
No, actually in the middle. So you see those 2 screws next to the axle.
Right there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when you add shims between there, it's really hard to explain using just words, but basically you would move the axle like
These two
outwards.
shims right here, right?
I don't see your mouse for some reason.
These two shims.
Oh yeah, those. Yeah, exactly those. So those two above the axle. So you would, if you add shims, you'd pull the lower one out, and well, actually, you'd pull the inner one in, and then because you adjust the camber accordingly, so you maintain the same angle of camber in the car, but because you have more distance between the upper and the lower pivot of the knuckle, you have to adjust the camber. And
Gotcha.
what happens here is obviously you introduce some KPI. So that was the huge revelation about the B7, one of the first brands that I know of at least the only brand currently who allows you to adjust KPI. But the thing is, they offer only three. They offer 3 different knuckles, and that's it. I think it's like 2, 4, and 6 or whatever. But this allows you to adjust them whichever way you want. You can go more, you can go, I don't know if you can go 0, but technically I guess you could. And then, you know, you could go anywhere in between. So it's a really cool thing. And I think this is exactly the type of thing that I wish Infinity would have done with their car. Obviously, probably this same style would not be durable enough for 8 scale, but having at least options like this, having, you know, some kind of way of, because the front end they have on the Infinity 8 scale, they have the chance, so they could do something like this, whereas, you know, most other cars can't, because, you know, they don't have that type of front end. You can't adjust a classic pivot ball car. C-hub, you just don't have the space. So yeah, this is really cool, and I wish it a lot of people would run it to kind of sort of see how it actually works and all stuff.
I'm not going to any 10 scale stuff till October, so I won't know. All right, up next, keeping it GT. We see MCD, the big 5th scale producers. They produce a lot of 5th scale. I believe Pecco runs for them. A lot of 5th scale
team driver.
5th scale, but they have some 5th scale stuff. They have some drawings for an electric GT. This class is becoming more popular. You know what I saw a video of? I saw a video of Uri Hootie running an electric GT car.
Yeah, I think I can't now remember. At the Worlds, the GT Worlds, I think Nitro was more popular, but the Euros, it could actually be more even. That it was kind of.
I am not gonna lie. If I get into GT racing, which I am, I would leave Nitro for my son, and I would run this for myself.
Yeah, I think like the electric is the only issue with GT electric is like the amount of power you need. It's gonna heat up all the stuff, and you're gonna need like massive batteries. Like, I'm not talking massive. Like, I think that picture has like 10K milliamp batteries. So yeah, so like, yeah, but I think those are, if you get those sorted, then I think GT is like good, you know. And I think even for Nitro, you know, you're gonna need all that 2-speed. You're gonna need, you know, separate engine, like all that type of stuff. So I think actually GT could be, at the end of the day, much easier to get into. And then when you get the car, when you get all the electronics working, it's gonna be easy. But yeah, I like MCD kind of. This could be their way to kind of swim into the 8 scale market. You know, they make a GTE, then they make a Nitro GT car. You know, maybe one day we see an 8 scale. Who knows? You know, who knows?
Who knows?
I'm talking 8 scale off road, obviously.
We don't need another 8 scale off road. We do not need.
No, but if it was anyone, I think MCD would be great. But I think MCD won't make an 8 scale off road car because they. Well, actually, I could be wrong. I was going to say that they do much more machining than injection molding, but I do think they actually do quite a bit of injection molding, so I think that thought was wrong to begin with. But I don't know. I think MCD is one of those companies which would be interesting to see in the 8 scale market because they are innovating like all the time. Like any like thing you see like in 5th scale, MCD is like trying to innovate. Elcon is kind of similar, I feel.
All right. Up next, we have some new tires at the Nats. And this is a Gene Hickerson post. he got a little upset. I wouldn't say he says this was Gene
Well,
Henderson.
it was. Yeah,
You got it. You read it out. I'll add it to
yeah,
the
yeah. So the thing with this, because I was gonna, get some news releases like from Live RC or whatever. Couldn't find. Live RC posted the Supernova and the Havoc. Nobody said anything about the HOTRACE Havana. So obviously, Gene the Machine, the marketing man that he is, took the chance because he saw that he saw that those tires like somewhat resembled some of his tires.
Mhm.
I think the Havana is actually quite close. The Supernova of AKA, that's not too far either. But the Havoc, like,
that's a
bridge.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the HOTRACE Havana looks like, and the dial looked like a J Concept tire. I can't remember what it's called.
Like a really old one.
Yeah, like a Detox, I want to say. I'm probably wrong here. But
no. Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a Detox, but it's the center is very different and so on.
So anyway, let's talk about the tire. So anyway, I get what it's saying that these people copied Dialed RC. Well, he used to sell VP Pro, and VP Pro copied every fucking body and still does for the longest while. So
yeah,
I'm not too worried about that.
To be honest, if you look at Dialed RC's tires, they look like every other manufacturer's tires as well. But okay, hear me out here. There's so many fucking tire manufacturers here that it's bound to happen. Like you can't make a square pin so many different ways. Okay, like
100%.
You put pins on a tire. There's not an infinite amount of ways which you can do it. So like, come on, like it's bound to happen.
Why does God choose Yoda? Hold on. Why does Ghost Yoda still need a cane? I don't know what's on my Facebook, but it's Star Wars.
But let's zoom in a bit.
Right? Let's zoom in. Which one do you want to zoom in on?
Let's start with the Havana.
I think y'all and Joao and Ricardo were talking about this.
Yeah, so basically the center pin kind of resembles something like an I-beam, like a very wide center pin. Then the outside, the rest of the tire is pretty much like a Detox. So a high amount of like narrow, long, kind of like not square. What's the other one?
Hexagon?
No. It's like the longer one. What the fuck do you call it? Rectangle. Yeah, like somewhat rectangular, so that like sleek pins. And then like the really big I-beam bow tie style center pins. So kind of a mix between Detox and an I-beam.
I think this tire is going to be really good on these indoor tracks and at race time events. I think so.
It could be, but what tire do they run there?
Most is relapse and maybe
if they run relapse, I think this would be good there.
I will say one thing. This looks like it has more of a square carcass than this tire. This looks way more rounded on the edges.
That's a good point. The HOTRACE
look a lot more square.
Yeah, the HOTRACE usually has quite a round carcass actually. Apart from a few like specific ones, but that one, the Havana, that was really square, and I think like obviously the what's it called, Detox, relapse, rehab, yeah, all those three kind of resemble that style.
The V5 of the Dial tire versus the AKA Supernova, which debuted at the Nationals, very similar, but also it's different. I
think actually I made a post about the Supernova because there's one tire that the Supernova really looks like, and that's the Proline caliper. You remember those ones?
Yes. But the caliper had
it was like triangles. Yeah,
and it had more like they're bigger. They were more of like a medium size or big lug tire.
Yeah. This is more bunched up together. Mm-hmm. But I think like when I saw this, I saw like the triangles, and I was like, that looks
it has triangles where this doesn't, and the spacing is different. I can see where first glance these tires look similar, but they are different. Like there is a complete difference. So you got 1, 2, 4 triangles of a square in her, and here you have 2 triangles, and I mean they're different treads. It's very similar, but different treads.
Yeah,
And
I think I think the Supernova thread. Someone said, I think it was Lutz, that it was really good on dusty conditions, and I do see that because I remember the caliper having the same thing, because you have those 2 pins on top of each other there. So you have like the big pin and then you have the small pin. CD Blocks was kind of the same, where you had the 2-stage pin. I think that's kind of what AK was going for here as well. But this one is much more bunched up, much more tighter.
I have some calipers here actually on this short course truck.
You do?
Yeah. The tread pattern is completely different, to be honest. I think these are calipers.
It's different, but I think the shape of the pin or whatever.
So in the calipers, you have more of a center section, and I think the pins are a lot higher. So,
but that's like the OG, And I think if you remake a caliper,
space in between them, more space in between them. So similar, but not exactly.
Yeah,
that's a good.
And then the Pro Motion Havoc. I mean, just another thread tire. Everyone has the thread tires these days.
What did you say? What tire?
Thread.
Thread.
Like like you have pin tires and then you have thread tires.
Oh, tread.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would call this more like a bar tire.
Yeah, I guess.
But hey, once again, it's similar to the OS engines, right? Everybody out there making tires nowadays, but everybody adding their little bit of nuances to it as well.
Yeah, and I have to say, that post got so many people upset. So Gene the machine knows how to market.
Well, Gene, so Diode is pretty popular in the East Coast in certain areas. He has a bunch of guys on the team. In fact, one of the managers, Kevin Mendez, just managed like team managers. He has like, I don't know, he has about 11 team managers. But Kevin Mendez, who's a friend of mine up in the Northeast, is like, oh, you need to get Gene on the podcast. I'm like, yeah, I will. Gene isn't that talkative, but I'll see him here in a couple of weeks. So maybe I'll ask him. All right, we're going to wrap up our RC news with 2 more things. One, Max, I know you don't know much about this, but so anyway, TRAXXAS released. So once again, like a lot of people hate on TRAXXAS and a lot of people hate on Horizon, but man, TRAXXAS has done more for RC than a lot of racing companies. So so Dirt Oval's huge, right, Max? It's a big genre of RC, and it's popular. So this class is called MUDBOSS. So these are like scaled off. The bodies are scaled off of a real, like they race this, like that's a real car that looks like that. It's called modified. Really, it's called modified in the big world, but they look like this. So this is meant to be like a intermediate type class based off slash chassis, the most versatile chassis in the market, by the way, or like any type of short course type of, whatever you can, mount that body on. They have some specific rules. So TRAXXAS came out with this body and our RTR version of this, right? Which I think is going to do wonders for the oval class, right? But of course, it's met with some bullshit, which TRAXXAS kind of did to themselves, but I'll explain later. So you see this is called slash modified now, right? So let's read what let's see, because they were first called slash MUDBOSS because the class is called MUDBOSS. Now the word MUDBOSS came from a group of guys named the Salvas. So the Salvas were the first person to Steve Salvas. So Steve Salvas made a post on this June 12th, and this dropped. So my brother developed a class in 2014, a spec chassis, a spec body, strict set of rules. It grew to be one of the most popular class in dirt oval ever. He called it Salvas MUDBOSS. Since its conception, Eric had communication sent over to TRAXXAS about getting involved in the MUDBOSS class with either MUDBOSS ready race kits or to get involved in MUDBOSS event sponsorships. Nada. Cricket sound, no communications back. Eric sold bodies in the 5 digits since 2014. What's 5 digits? Like 100,000 plus? No. It's like under 100,000. Still good. Yes, TRAXXAS sold a lot more kits to the dirt overworld than would have ever expected. So, yes. So it's basically saying, yes, TRAXXAS sold a lot more kits to the dirt overworld than they ever would have expected since the Salvas MUDBOSS. What do TRAXXAS do resulting from this? They release a Midwest RTR oval kit. The Pinnacle is the name, the new kit of my brother's class, MUDBOSS. It tells you the kind of company they are. Those who know MUDBOSS know it's not a MUDBOSS. So basically, TRAXXAS released this and called it MUDBOSS, right? Now apparently these guys did not trademark this, right? So the class is called MUDBOSS, right? Anyway, that caused a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of torn on this in two ways, right? The Slash has done so much, right? Just, look, short course racing, damn, drag racing started with this chassis, like this type of chassis.
Yeah.
The people that race oval now, you mostly use like race this class, MUDBOSS, modified, race this type of car. I get where the Salvas are coming from, but they never trademarked the name. I get that TRAXXAS never contacted them and all that stuff, but MUDBOSS was the name of the class, right? TRAXXAS makes a car with a body. It's more than just a body. It's got a few things to make it different, pretty much based off a Slash chassis. But ready to run. You can run these things. And people need to look at the big picture. Like the amount of people that this will help get into oval racing at a very cheap price, right? Yeah, I get it. The Salvas made MUDBOSS and that they made it famous and all that stuff. I get all that. I'm not taking away from that. But I think they actually went out after a while. I don't know how long trademarks talk, but they did post a message June 21st, MUDBOSS TM. And then it had about 126 comments. And it just kind of went on. But my thinking is, yes, TRAXXAS probably sold a lot of Slash cars to the oval world, but people run Slash in oval. Like they have a whole another body, like looks like a real car that they use. Like it's the oval world. Like you just need to fit some parameters and weight and all that stuff. So there's various Mr. chassis, but the most popular chassis is probably the Slash. So I think this was in my opinion, I think this was a.
So why did TRAXXAS end up changing the name then?
I think because of all the fuss and fight, this is what they said. Update. The newly released Slash MUDBOSS is a hit. Everyone loves the performance and features, and we are seeing excitement grow for oval racing as these new machines arrive on the track. However, we've decided to make a name change. Slash MUDBOSS is now called Slash Modified. The new name more accurately reflects the full-size modified dirt oval racing that originally inspired us to create this model. The vehicle itself is completely unchanged, and going forward, you will see the word modified replacing the word MUDBOSS on our website, packaging, and other related materials. Slash Modified is available now at your local hobby shops. I think either the MUDBOSS trademarked it, or they just didn't want TRAXXAS didn't want to get sued. Imagine TRAXXAS don't want to get sued, and they sued quite a lot of people. But for me, I think people are fighting over a name of a class instead of looking at the big picture of this. Don't get me wrong. I understand maybe why the Salvas are upset, but you made a lot. You made over. It says 5 digits, so you probably made $99,000 or less, right, off this body and this different type of body, and then not just a Slash. Yes, TRAXXAS sold a lot of Slashes to people to get into into oval. So it's kind of like everybody helps each other out. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Obviously, the bodies resulted in more Slashes. People bought more Slashes because they were cheap and easy and parts are available. So everybody benefited from this. Yes, TRAXXAS sold more Slashes. Yes, the Salvas sold more MUDBOSS. I think it's more about respect. Like they wanted, being as they called it MUDBOSS, they should have, they should have trademarked the name, right? I get it. But now, and also,
like, did they
kicks into their profit now, because now TRAXXAS makes this body. They're probably going to make it way cheaper, right? It's going to come out in clear. They have it already fit for this already chassis. So that kind of cuts the Salvas out. So I understand that part of it too. But people still going to buy their bodies. Like people still, like people buy different bodies for cars. But anyway,
wait, like what the? So they made body shows?
Huh?
They made body shows? Like
yeah, they made, so you see that body. So you see this, right? This body shell right here. This type of body. That is what the Salvas what. I'll bring up what the Salvas made, right?
Okay, so they basically they created this style of body and said, hey, let's run this body and call it this class. And this class is called MUDBOSS.
Right. So, but the Salvas made the first body of this.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's basically what they did.
That's what the kerfuffle's about. That's what it's all about. But basically, they bought this car. But really, it's going to cut into their profits. Really, that's what's going to happen. Is because now people don't have to go buy a Slash and then go buy this body. They can just buy that TRAXXAS Slash with that body already on it, right? So here's I guess this is not, I don't know if it's the original, but here's a look at what the Salvas MUDBOSS looks like. So you can see.
But I don't really like. It's just like, why would TRAXXAS not do it if people like?
No. But this is the class that these guys run in. This type of body is the class is now called MUDBOSS class. It has a set of rules and all that stuff.
But was it that before this body was created?
No, it's called modified in the real world. They didn't have this. They have a few different classes in Oval. They have like that sprint car, like with the wing. They have this class. They have a class where you can wear like a real style body of a car.
Yeah,
like where you race it. And they probably have a few more classes that I don't know about. But this and the sprint cars are like the ones that are based off what real ovals look like, real oval cars look like. So basically, TRAXXAS came out, called it MUDBOSS, didn't give these guys the props that they deserve. These guys got upset. And then TRAXXAS said, fuck it, we're going to just change it to modified. Fuck all the issue. I think that Salvas actually trademarked it because they, in their posts, let me bring that up if I can. In their post, they say, if you go up, see, this is also like a body for their 7-scale cars. That looks pretty cool, actually. So, they said, look, MUDBOSS TM, that was June 21st. So it looks like they might have trademarked that, and now TRAXXAS changed it over to modified. Okay. In the end, not the biggest deal in the world for me, but people need to look at the big picture and think like, wow, this is going to make it easy for people like me. I would go buy one of these damn TRAXXAS modifieds and just go race it. So I want to do some modified. This is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be parts. It's a, so yeah, that was a big kerfuffle. And then we had the RC10T, which happened a couple of weeks ago, which caused a lot of kerfuffle with people as well. Like, I think one of the top, not Tom, he's like an RC guy. Oh, but he races. He's an English YouTuber. Oh, I can't remember his name. It will come up. You probably know he's like got about 10,000 subs, but they do a lot of RC stuff, right? Racing stuff. So they made a post about it. So the RC, remember the re-release of the 10T? The RC10, associated RC10.
Yeah, we talked about it in the podcast, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know what you meant that day. But I since I kind of, figured it out. Like there was a whole bunch, like CML was pissed off. A whole bunch of like associated were pissed off because they're just doing direct sales, which is wrong. But that's the way RC is right now.
That's the way of the, free world and capital market and so on.
Sponsor culture. All right. Yeah. Any more RC news we need to go over before we move on, Max? I don't
think we have anything.
All right.
Try to look for everything.
Yeah, if we missed something, I'll tell you this. If you're a fan of the podcast and you love what we're doing and you see some sort of news or anything going on there, don't be afraid to message Max or me and just leave a link. And we'll add it because we don't see everything. All right, Max. Up next is the Corsatec USA race reports, race recaps, brought to you by Corsatec USA, who's actually got a sale on right now. You can save up to, I can't remember the percentage, but there's a coupon code. I actually posted on my Facebook. I'll post the link and the coupon code in the written description of this podcast. But Corsatec USA is your one-stop shop for all things Corsatec in America. You can now purchase all of the Corsatec range of products for nitro and electric powered vehicles with their electric and nitro systems and accessories used by world and European champions David Ronnefalk and Robert Badier. Established in 2022, Corsatec was founded by Adrian Bertin and Oscar Janssen, both European and world champions in their own right. Corsatec was made by racers for racers, all available in the USA. And we have a link in the written description of this podcast, and I will put up the coupon code for that at the very beginning. Thank you to Corsatec USA for all the support. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Max. So we have a few races.
I opened Facebook because I saw I had a notification.
Yes.
And I saw the best bit of news that I've seen.
We got
Since I've started, we got some breaking news, mid-podcast breaking news. Let me show you. This is freaking amazing. Look at this, dude.
Just as we go into race recaps.
Yeah, look at this. Pink wheels, man. It's freaking pink wheels. Oh, shit.
I have nothing wrong with pink wheels, to be honest. But these are 10 scale? Yeah, all 10 scale. See,
well, it's Schumacher. Orange wheels, green wheels.
I like the green wheels.
All kinds of wheels.
Very, very top-notch reporting there, Max. Top-notch reporting.
Dude,
I think
what the hell? This is freaking amazing.
No black wheels. I like black wheels.
They have black wheels already.
I know, but I think this orange would go if you're a paint job, to be honest.
Yeah, I have orange stickers already, but I like orange wheels, you know.
All right, let's look at some races that have happened over the couple of weeks. We had the BRCA 10 scale electric off-road nationals in round number 3, held at June 8th to 9th at Stotfield, United Kingdom. Two-wheel drive, so Tommy Hall, Neil Craig, and Ben Smith. You did talk about Ben Smith the other day. He has got another podium on his hands in two-wheel drive. The wily veteran Neil Craig in second. And four-wheel drive, we saw Tommy Hall, Jamie Hall, so the Hall brothers went 1-2. And Thompson Phipps, no idea who he is, but he got a third place in the Nationals. So congratulations to him. Shucks. We have the BRCA 10 scale electric off-road Nationals round number 4, held June 29th to 30th. Bury Metro, United Kingdom. Tommy Hall once again takes the win. Your guy. It's like Ben Smith takes second and Neil Craig takes third. Does Ben Smith not run four-wheel drive, or he's just not happy? That's not a four-wheel drive guy.
I don't really know about that. Why he doesn't do well in four-wheel drive, but I'd imagine he'd run both. But he's doing much better in two-wheel. But yeah, Ben Smith. And then in four-wheel drive, you see Tommy Hall taking the win, and with that, he confirms the four-wheel drive championship. Thompson Phipps, who finished third at the previous race, and Johnny Skidmore in third. So congratulations, Tommy Hall, on taking that four-wheel drive and probably gonna take the two-wheel drive the way it's looking. All right, he's been on a spree of winning.
Yes, we had the EFRA 10 scale Nitro Touring Car Euros that happened actually the same weekend as the Nationals, I believe. Yep, June 19th to 22nd at the Model Club Thionvillos in France. Thionvillos. I'm sorry, France, for butchering that. But the finals, we had Balastri, Groskamp, and Gruber. No surprises at any three of those names because each one of them have won world championships and European championships. So no surprise there for me. Is this how many entries were at this class? Because, dude,
well, I was trying to look for it, but I couldn't find it.
If there's a class that's like Diane and RC, this is it.
Yeah.
I think it's like you said, it's just become just as hard and just as expensive as doing a 1/8 scale GT. Oh, I got hiccups. But like the World Championships in Costa Rica, we were supposed to go on and do the coverage. Crickets. We hadn't about to tell them we can't do it because they haven't sent any money. They haven't done anything. We haven't. They put out a stage report the other day. I'll be surprised if that that Worlds gets 50 entries.
Yeah.
But maybe people would like to go Costa Rica to hang out and chill out there. But well done to Balestri, Groskamp, and Gruber. Balestri is obviously Infinity. Groskamp, what does he drive? That's Gillis, right? Gillis Groskamp?
Yeah, Infinity.
Yeah, Infinity. And Gruber
they actually had a pretty decent turnout. They had 55 people.
I think that's about what you're going to get at the Worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more because some Latin American guys will come and race.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's like it. They had.
I think that this class should just run concurrent with the GT class.
No, I think.
You don't think? I mean, they're both on firm tires.
No, GT. Oh, you mean the GP class?
GP. Sorry, I got that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if they ran with the GP class, then it would make more sense. But to be honest,
I don't think there has to be a whole separate Worlds for it. Just like you could argue that fifth scale and GT could run on the same track, I think. Nitro GT, but because they both run rubber tires.
Yeah, right. I think fifth scale GT, then these foam classes, they could run together. But to be honest, I think like this 10 scale touring class should kind of
just go away.
It's too similar.
Right? It's just going so far away from what it used to be. It's like it's so far going from those TC3 days, which was a great kit with a shaft. It's nobody run. I mean, 55 entries at the Euros, and I think they're lucky if they get that at the Worlds.
Yeah, and to be honest, like it's like I've said this so many times, but the difference between 8 scale and 10 scale foam cars, body shell and the driving is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too similar. It's like the cars are if I put two cars next to each other on the table, some people would really take a while to know which one is which, without the body shell. So it's just I don't know. It's a bit of a pointless class, unfortunately.
I would have to agree with you. Probably people that run it will not agree with us, but I think they should run together, concurrent. All right, we had the 10 scale Japanese Nationals, Off-Road Nationals, June 29th to 30th, RC Park Gojo, Japan. Koiki Kato, that's Orange Wheel guy, right?
No, he's not. He's that's what the fuck's the Orange Wheel guy's name?
I can't remember. But Koiki Kato, we've talked about before. Yui Kaino and Shoyo Yamasaki in two-wheel drive. Yui Kaino, Koiki Kato, and Nana Kaiho in four-wheel drive. And Max, you want to know who is this Kaino guy?
Because last year Kato won both classes, fair and square. He was good in touring. He was good in Nitro on road. He was good in all classes. Never heard of this Kaino. Yeah, Kaino guy. Mm-hmm. Never. I don't know. He runs Associated, so I guess they're friends with Koiki Kato, but no idea. And he beat him. So I mean, he must be pretty good because I think Koiki Kato is like, I think he was like C main at the Worlds or something. So he's not like terrible.
All right, he was at the Worlds too. Interesting stuff. Your favorite Japan, your favorite country. I don't know why I just don't move there. Probably because it's expensive. All right, the final race we have is the Italian race, which was held June 21st, 23rd. We have a special guest interview and that race is mentioned. Maybe he was the winner, and that's dropping for everybody next week. If you are a patron, you're gonna get it earlier. It was held at the Ospi team track in Gusalgo, Italy. I've been there for RCGP. Pre-race talking about another Boots and Polito showdown. If you remember, the last time these two got together was Matrix versus HOTRACE, and they immediately gave the decision to Polito. We discussed that quite a lot in one of the podcasts from last year. I can't remember which one it was. Ongaro, this is his kryptonite track. This is the track where I've seen him get frustrated, like where he's mad. Yeah, I would say this is the track where the Canas and Ongaro beef kind of bubbled over. It wasn't full bore like Mount Vesuvio eruption, but it was like a little bit of ash spewing out, and like leading to the eruption because they don't. I mean, from what I heard, like Canas and Ongaro, like before they like their dads used to talk in the pits and all that stuff. Now, not so much. It's like we're out. You're my enemy. So
yeah, but I think, like you said, I can't confirm like when was the last time Ongaro won at this track, but I feel like every time there's a race at this track, someone else wins apart from him.
And he always leaves upset. Remember the Reds GP? He was mad. He didn't take his. So this track,
yeah, he didn't even make the podium.
Yeah, this track does something to Ongaro. He does not like it. But they had it rained, so they had to compress the whole 200 entries or whatever into one day, and they ran they had Truggy, they had EP, they had electric buggy. Ongaro won Truggy, followed by Barufalo and Mattia Polito.
No, it wasn't Polito, it was someone else.
Oh, Mattia Corrillo. Yeah, no idea who that is.
I was lucky. Like I was like, what the fuck? They run Truggy in Italy, but I was lucky because you'd have given me so much shit if they had actually good amount of entries. But they had only 7 people driving. Okay, only 7 people. They on whole of Italy, they found 7 people who will drive Truggy. Okay,
it's probably more people that were going to race short course truck at the Nationals last year because I was listening to the NERP podcast.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
The NERP podcast, and the guy G, he's like, I really want 4-wheel drive short course and mini Truggy to be run at the Nationals, and I don't care if I have to go buy 5 entries just to have it placed. I'm like, should be like a full. If you can't field a full field, then no go. But E-Buggy, so Ongaro, Canas, and Bourdon single final with Ongaro domination. Boots ran out of battery from second place. Now in Nitro Buggy, which was actually have the video up here, which was run. We got a bike out there running at the moment, which was run under the lights. And this place does not have the best lights. You'll put it on and play it while it goes. There's Max and I down in the corner. So Boots went on to win this race. This is like his home track, but he says, to be real, it's just like everybody's home track. So
yeah, it's kind of this stage on the Boots' home track because Ongaro lives like a good few hours away from this track, but I bet he comes here quite a bit. Bourdon, I think even Trevisan, Polito, all these guys, they practice here all the time. So yeah, Valente, same. It's his home track too.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fast guys that run at this track that are fast. Yeah,
this is like the closest track to the Reds factory. So like this is 5 kilometers away from the Reds factory. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those guys who run Reds, you usually also run at this track. And so on. So yeah, but I was quick. I didn't watch the whole main, like from start to finish, but I quickly scrolled past it, and it seemed like Boots kind of gets by somewhere right here in the beginning and the first few minutes, and then after that he kind of leads till the end. Ongaro is close by all the way until he has technical. I think he flames out because he comes back, but couldn't really tell what happened to him. And then Boots just kind of ran away with it since then. But it was like looking decent for Ongaro for a while, but then the flame out kind of killed it again.
Yeah, also, this is where kind of Boots turned his career on last year this time at this race.
Yeah, this was the one he was battling against Polito, and then lost lap pass.
No,
yeah,
that was
there was 2 races. Huh?
Reg GP is where the controversial pass was.
Yeah, but it was two races.
I know.
So they had 2 races. One was where Boots actually won. Yeah.
Which was this one? Oh, Ongaro made his mistake.
Yeah, that's where Boots got by. Yeah, I think Ongaro just clips the pipe. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, but I think Boots won the Italian race last year as well. And Polito was second. And I think Boots passed him on the last lap. And then at the Reg GP, Boots passed him again, but this time he got a penalty.
Yeah, we talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But not only that, but this is what I think jump-started Boots's rejuvenated career. Because
100%. Yeah.
we were like, I told him, I said, we thought he was going to be retired, man. And he goes, and he explains why. I'm not giving out any secrets. You can all check it out next week when it drops. But he just said he said something clicked, and that's what happened. But this is where it clicked. And well done to Boots, man. I was talking to him. He seems very confident going into the Euros and going into the World Tour coming up. But anyway, it was Ongaro. It was Boots, Bourdon, and Trevisan. Now, people may not know who Trevisan is, but Trevisan is pretty fast. I don't know if he still runs WIRC though. Probably.
Yeah. So if you look at, let me bring up the results for myself, but it was like 4 WIRC cars in a row or something. No, sorry, it was Trevisan was in third with the WIRC, and then there was Barufalo, Asturin, and Valente in 7th, 8th, and 9th with WRC. But they're really making a push in Italy, I have to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Max. Up next is going to be our Sidewinder upcoming races. Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with many of the world's top drivers for over 40 years. This has enabled us to test our fuels in many of the most challenging situations and take the development of competition fuels to the next level. The result is Sidewinder, the market's most powerful racing fuel. This fuel is track tested and proven by national world champions such as Ryan Cavallari, Ryan Mayfield, Greg Degani, Mark Pavidis, and their top driver right now is the ever impressive Little Bump. These drivers appreciate that Sidewinder blended perfectly for high performance needs of competitive racing. Don't let victory slip through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder today. Upcoming races, we have the 1/8 EFRA 8 scale Nitro Buggy EB Euros coming up this weekend from Alicante. The following weekend, it's like every race in the world is on that weekend. We have the Asian Buggy Championships, round number 3, held at Pine Hills Dirt Racing. Ryan Pavidis is going to that. I wonder if Lutz is going, not sure.
By the way, actually, one thing we forgot from our news, Ryan Pavidis left Sparko.
You know what?
No drama. I don't think there was any drama, but
he left Sparko, and Mark Souza left X-Ray and is now driving HB.
Yeah, Souza went to HB. Yeah, that's true.
No, mind you, Mark hasn't been relevant in RC for quite some time.
Yeah, but I think he's actually maybe working with AK at least. Or maybe even for AK.
One of our questions coming up. But we did forget about this. We're forgetting news. We're not writing this down.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did leave. I found out that he left Sparko quite some time ago. I don't think he's going to get better than Sparko. Like for Pavidis, I don't think he's going to get better. I think he more.
From what I understood, it was kind of a thing where he
wants to
stops racing, kind of goes into school and so on. But I don't really know.
Who knows? Who knows? Kind of unfortunate because he was talented, but I don't think he ever really lived up to his full potential. So we had the Afro 5th scale off-road Euros coming up. We have July 22nd, 27th. I'll actually be off that weekend because I won't be at Wicked Weekend. We have RC Pro-Am, which I'll be at the 11th to the 14th. Can't wait for that. That's going to be pretty stacked. We have Wicked Weekend coming up. Is it the weekend prior to? So the Euros you have to 23rd to 27th. So that means, hold on. Is it the same weekend as Wicked Weekend? I think it is.
I have no idea. I tried to look up for some American races, but I didn't get
Wicked Weekend's the big race coming up for me and for America. That's the last big race. And for the Americans before we go to the Worlds and the Euros for the Euros. We have the Nordics coming up August 2nd to 4th. I'm sure. Are you going to that?
Yeah, actually, to all of our Nordic listeners, I know there's many Finnish people, there's many Swedish people, as well as Danish and Norwegian people listening onto this. And why not Estonian? If you live in Estonia, you can come too. So 2nd to 4th of August in Stockholm. It's kind of announced late, some, bureaucratic issues. You know, it's in Nordic countries. We have bureaucracy. We have to get used to it. But it's happening from 2nd to 4th of August. And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Right at the center of Stockholm. It's a great track. I hope all of these fast guys come in. I hope Hampus and David come in, but it's right after the Euros.
HagBerg, he's really fast right now. Hampus imaginary.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I need to. I'll skip Hampus. I'll just message Oscar. You know.
Yeah, like you and imaginary brother Rex, who doesn't exist. He's supposed to be working on our website, but hasn't. And then we have the 10 scale touring Euros coming up August 23rd. Asian Buggy Championship round 4, September 5th to 8th. Then, of course, the big enchilada, the 8 scale Nitro Buggy Off-Road World from Redovon, 8th to the 14th. I cannot wait. Super, super excited. And then the weekend right after that, we have the 10 scale Euros. And then we have Touring Worlds. We have Peach State. There's a lot of racing left. We got 5 months left in this year. So, but you know what else is coming up? The Dakota Slideways Midweight West Nationals Payout Race next weekend. Not this weekend coming, but the 14th to 16th. And we want to thank you for them for choosing the No Name RC podcast to promo their race. If you guys want us to promo your race, let us know. We have rates for everybody.
Wow.
That's right. I am out of focus. The Dakota Slideways Midway Nationals in Aberdeen, South Dakota. If you want to get any more information on this cash payout race, go to check out Dakota Slideways on Facebook as well. All right, Max. Up next, we're going to take a quick look at the Elite RC NNRC Cup after the Nationals. Now, we don't have this all done up in our pretty overlay, and I will do a write-up for this once Danny does the points, but I want to say a big thank you to the Fullers, Mike and his wife, for sending this to me. It's the PDF of the standings at the moment, and we're just going to take a quick few minutes to go over this real quick. Let's put us down here in the corner. Let's let me get this up and going. 1 second, Max. Let's find that PDF. I don't know, where is it? And yeah, right now, without any drops currently, let's zoom in on this. We have Dakota Fend still in the lead, showing that consistency is key. His lowest score came at both Silver State and DNC with a 21. And if I'm not mistaken, that's third, right? So the lowest he's been at these races has been a third out of all these races. PNB, I think he got second, so he got 23. SIC, he was second. Nats, he was second, so he got 23. Now, Mayfield, who's now in second. Now, this is without drops. With a drop, Mayfield actually is in front. So you can see her, that Dakota Fan, without any drops, has 111 points. Mayfield has 107. But if we use drops, Fan has 69 and Mayfield has 75. What's hurt Mayfield the most, but he'll be able to drop it, is that his lowest score was DNC, where he had a 13. We finished like 8th or something like that. I can't remember. And then SIC, I think he finished 5th, and he got a 19. In third, Brandon Rose, who's been consistent, even though he has a good win in there, but he's still been consistently in the top 5. He currently has 92 points. Ryan Lutz, 4th. Mason Fuller, 5th. Spencer Rifkin, 6th. The Wizard, Jared Wiggins, 7th. Bornhorst in 8th. Little Bump, still in 9th. David Ronafalk, who's only done 3 races, is still in 10th. Now, obviously, he will be dropped completely out of there because he won't be doing any more American races. We have Seth and Dane and Joey Bourdon, Ryan Cavallari, and JC3. So eliminate, I say eliminate Ronafalk and JC3, and I will put Mayfield. I mean, Mayfield is on top if I drop, but I think that these standings are pretty accurate. I think Joey Bourdon is in the top 11 races in America right now, in USA. Bornhorst still, Wiggins, Riff. I think this is pretty damn accurate, man. This goes to show what happens when you have a point system to determine.
Yeah, I think if we look at the total points,
can you see it?
Yeah. Can you zoom in a little bit?
I will zoom in some more.
Yeah. If we look at the total points, obviously it's a battle between 2 guys. So this goes from like Supercross points.
Mm-hmm.
So we have how many races? We have
so that's what we have
Wicked Weekend.
I really want to throw the Worlds in there. I do. I think the Worlds should be in there.
Yeah, but
I think the Worlds should be in there, and I think it should be double points.
But then you should count only Americans.
No, it counts because it doesn't matter. Because the last races are Wicked Weekend and AMS, right?
We only have 2 left.
Exactly. So it's only 7 races. The Worlds was always a wild card, whether we was going to do it or not. And I think we should. So you know what? We're going to leave it to the public. Should we include the Worlds? Should it be double points? And should it be just for Americans? No, because we do have some Europeans in here. Not that it makes a difference. Because by the time they come to the drops and all that stuff, all these guys will be right on.
No, but okay, think of this. If Ronafalk wins the Worlds, he gets 52 points. He would be on 95.
See, yeah, but all these guys still have Wicked Weekend, New Worlds, and AMS to go.
Yeah. Okay.
So let us know what you think in the comments. Should we include the
World shouldn't be? I don't think World should be double points though.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Let us know. Let us know in the comments in YouTube and on Facebook. Should the Worlds be included? Should it be double points? Should it be just for Americans only? Let us know in the comments below. We want to know. We want to hear from you. Max, we have some BenchRC bench racing Q&A questions. We want to thank everybody that sent us some questions. We're not going to be able to go through all of them. We're going to pick some. So thank you, BenchRC. We have an affiliate link for that. I'll see Lucas and Brent and everybody next weekend at the RC Pro-Am. Make sure to tune in for that. That is going to be awesome.
BenchRC.com, the Racer's one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BenchRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BenchRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, S-Works, Pro Circuit Racing tires, Nitro Lux fuels, and Assault RC performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BenchRC.com today.
Exactly. Fill up your card and check out at BenchRC. Use our affiliate link if you can. If you don't want to use our affiliate link, say, hey, I love the No Name RC podcast. I was watching Wheel and Trigger last night. Wheel and Trigger was really good a few weeks ago. Checking out. We haven't done a live show in so long. We need to do a live show. Well, I need to do a live show. Don't think it's going to happen this week. It might happen while I'm away. We want to thank everybody for getting their questions in. We're going to take a few from each of them that we can because we did get quite a few. First up, Ethan Voorhees. Here we go, Max. You know what? We're going to the 3-minute timer.
Oh no.
Not that you've adhered to any of this, by the way. Well, we're good. 3 minutes on this question. Oh, shucks. Let me start that all over again. Come on, Sam. Go on. All right. 3 minutes starting off. Ethan Voorhees. What are some of the general ideas for making a nitro car easy to drive in long mains? My e-buggy is always very easy to drive. My nitro buggy is very easy to drive in qualifiers and at the beginning of longer mains, but usually around halfway point of a main, my nitro buggy becomes unpredictable and harder to drive. Go ahead, Max.
You're ready too fast.
Basically, what he's saying is his e-buggy car lasts his 10-minute runs and his nitro car is good in qualifying, but when he gets halfway through his nitro main, his car, I know the answer to this. I know the answer to it. It comes to a halfway point of a main, my nitro buggy becomes unpredictable and harder to drive.
Well, there's a few things that could be with this. One is too soft plastics, so it depends a lot on which brand you drive. But if the brand offers harder plastics, then try those. If your brand offers like arm stiffness or something, try those. That's one thing you can try. Another one, a very simple one, is just use thicker diffs. So it could be that, you know, it takes like 2 or 3 minutes for the diffs to warm up. Then it takes from that 2 minutes, another 10 to 15 for them to start, you know, cooking. So it might be like, you know, until 20 minutes, it's good. And then it goes bad even. Shock oil can be the same, but mostly with shock oil, it's that the pressure starts to build up, not so much the oil, at least in my opinion. But yeah, those things. And then if none of those things help, kind of the last course of action would be to make sure that all of the stuff in the car is kind of loose enough, because there is a point like when you don't clean your car, at some point it just gets so dusty that it starts getting stuck. But I don't really see that being like that probable, because most cars do get stuck before that if there isn't, you know, like enough play. So yeah, diffs probably the first thing to try. Then shock oil. Yeah,
you got to set your car up for that long main, not for that quick fire main, and especially in the summertime and it's hot outside and it's like 95 degrees. That diff oil is gonna cook like that, and it's gonna, you know, your car's gonna get squirrely. Set your car up for the long run. It may be a little bit difficult to drive in the beginning, but eventually will come in, and warm your car up properly. That's why you see guys out there revving their cars up, not just to get the engine up to heat, but to get the diffs and everything up to heat. I would agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Diffs can be also like warmed up on the pit. So for example, before you go into the warm up, you just like spin the diff. Obviously, you don't want to spin it too hard for it to like actually cook it. But yeah, that's one thing.
Good. We kept it at 3 minutes. Up next from Joe Zier Jr. of Ran on a Talent podcast, good friend of mine. When the RC market fully corrects itself and being a pro racer becomes a thing of the past, what will big races look like attendance-wise, like the Worlds, DNC, Raw Nets, etc.? I don't think we're gonna come to a point where we see no pro drivers. I think we're gonna come to a point where we see very few pro drivers.
I actually disagree. I think the amount of pro drivers is gonna increase, or let's say amount of pros in RC are gonna increase, but the amount of pro drivers is gonna decrease.
What? Explain yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, so I think like there is gonna be more room for people who do RC kind of like professionally. So let's talk like Adam Drake. Maybe even like people like JQ, you know, does his courses, all that stuff, and so on. Ryan Stiles Harris, maybe people like that who could do it professionally. But I really highly doubt that there's going to be more like people who just drive. I think it's gonna go.
You mean they're gonna have a job, like a separate job in RC of some sort?
Yeah,
like racing's just gonna be like a. Yeah, I get it. I think that's gonna happen, but I still think there's gonna be some guys that are just get paid to race, but there's gonna be very few. It's very few now that make good money. So it's an interesting thing. Like Mike Hill always says to me, RC has to die before it gets better. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Up next, Darnell DeBrew. He says, we recognize that HRCR is a world-class facility in the area where you wouldn't expect to get the turnout that they do, which it did. I mean, it's a beautiful facility. Great track. What can other track owners learn from Brian Eider and his crew on how to generate interest in RC racing in their communities and maybe even a world-class facility on their own? Inquiring minds want to know. First off, I want to say, not everybody can do what the Eider's done. We're talking about a $500,000 facility, and you know what? It still doesn't have a roof on it on top on the outdoor facility. So that's another $1.2 million. I was told, right? So the Eiders are a very nice family. They are avid racers. They have, this is not their main business, like at all. This is a hobby for them. Yes, they wanted to generate income, right? But it's not there to generate. It's not there. Like that's not what they live off. He was in construction. I think he's semi-retired. He just loves RC and he pumped a lot of money into this track and facility and racing because he goes around and races quite a lot. Him and his son Travis. Also, the Pacific Northwest has a decent sized community of racers that travel around to different races. They have 2 series up there. They have the Work Series with Justin Wild. Then they have the Northwest Championship Tour. I don't know if it's called that anymore. It might be Northwest Rage Tour. But if you look at the number now, so what we're trying to say is not everybody can build a facility like this. It has an off-road track. The driver stand alone probably costs about $80,000 to $100,000 just for that because it's got an elevator in it, all that type of stuff. He has the tools, the know-how, the connections to build a track, the money to build a facility like this. So not everybody's going to be able to build a facility like this. There are very few people that can. A-Main being one, but it's a very beautiful facility. But if you look at the numbers of the Raw Nationals, it actually got less entries than last year. And last year, the raw entry numbers for the fuel nets have been going down since 2021. 2021 pretty much sold out. All right. It sold out like in a few minutes online. 2022, they held it early. It was at Adobe. It was like in March. Didn't get that much interest. Last year, it didn't fill out at A-Main because it didn't have as many entries as it did at previous ones. It had a little bit more, I think maybe 20 more and maybe 20 more people. I can't remember. So this Raw Nationals did not sell out, unfortunately. And I think it comes down to one thing, and that's location. Even Chico, which isn't, okay, this race is in Idaho. I don't know. People say you can fly into Spokane and then drive 45 minutes. Maybe in America, that's easy to get to. Like once you're in America with flights. But like flying internationally, I don't know how much. I looked at tickets one time to get there. It wasn't easy. Same can be said about Chico. It's about a 3-hour drive from San Francisco. It's about an hour drive from Sacramento. But still, we did not see those nets sell out. Great facility. Everything's there. Fully covered pits, all that type of stuff. So I think it all comes down to location. Put this fuel nets in the Southeast, it will sell out in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Put it there, put it back in RC up in the Northeast, it will sell out in 15 minutes. So
it's the same. It's the same every time. It's like if you put an 8-scale race, south of Germany, south of France, west, northern Italy, something like that, you're gonna sell out the Euros in an instant. It's like everyone wants to go. When you put the Euros like all the way to Portugal, maybe even to like Redovan, where everyone's been so many times, not that many people want to go. It's farther away. It's harder to go. It's not as appealing of a location. But yeah, for example, e-buggy Euros, they're like fully booked. There's people who like would be going if there was more places, but there just isn't. Right.
You put this LCRC 2021 people on the waiting list. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm not, and so but the IDers have put, the thing is, that is what they have done is not the norm. Not everybody can do that, right? They threw money. That is a big, expensive facility, and it's. I'm sure they wanted to make money, right? But it can sit there and not make money because it's like, it's like it's not his bread and butter. But I think to beat that, you have to put the money into it. I think the only thing somebody could do to beat that track is probably put a track with a roof on it, right? And that's, like I said, $1.2 million or something like that. And I'm telling you, a track is not going to generate. You're not going to. People don't understand. You're not going to make that money back. You're not. This is a work. Is when people do things like this track. Even the Chico track, they don't need that track, but they have it because they have some money. Thornhill is passion. A lot of these tracks are passion projects, like facilities like this. You see facilities like maybe not all in one, but like you look at a facility like Redavon, excellent facility. IBC, excellent facility. Just 8 scale. So in Europe, you see more facilities. In America, you see more tracks, but this is a facility for people. But I don't think everybody can copy the business model, right? Because most people who are going to put that type of money into a track need to make profit back. So it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but,
and I think,
go ahead.
Like what you said, like all the tracks you've been kind of listing off, all of them like figure widows. RC is like their whole life. Like his dad has a hobby shop.
No, it doesn't, but I know what you mean. Like they love this stuff. It takes passionate people to do this, and the idols are no different, right? And
also like
shouldn't have sold out. Yeah, I'm not saying that it shouldn't have sold out, but it had a good entry comp. But he gets, like I said, he gets that work series in there. They got a whole bunch of entries, all that type of stuff. But you look at that, and that is beautiful. But you got to remember that with that came a big price tag. So it's not the norm for everybody. All right,
and like I bet that race time makes like 2 or 3 times more money by having their event versus this.
I mean, yeah, because that's what it's for. It's to make money, and they have more entries, but they also have to pay out, just like Joey has to pay out a lot at Silver State. They have to pay a lot out at these events. Well, how do I know? Because I've seen the inner workings.
Well, I know, of course, but like the profit margin is significantly bigger.
Right, because you don't have the expense of dealing with that for an entire year. You just deal with it for a week, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of money to put out for one event, but you can make a decent amount of money back.
Yeah, it's like
nationals. I can tell you that there, because I can tell you that Ida probably didn't make any money off the nationals. He probably lost money because the amount of money they put in there to make it happen.
Yeah.
If he broke even off the Raw Nationals, I'll be surprised. Maybe he can let me know. But it's a beautiful.
I think you make quite a bit of money from the fuel laps. I'd imagine. Because from the Euros, as long as you get a decent amount of entries,
you do not. Let me tell you how it works. That's why we're seeing less and less tracks bid on them. So you got $1,500 right from the start. Then you have to reach a threshold of entries, like 175 entries, before you start getting a percentage of that. And if you reach you get a per entry thing, right? I don't know the full specifics. I did read it, but I can't remember. So you, as a track owner, where you make your money is selling pit space. People were upset because you're selling pit space for $200, but they're inside. Selling pit space, sponsors, shirts. Yes, you make a little, but you make very little money from Raw. Not enough.
That's the issue, because I think for EFRA events, the organizer gets the majority. They get like, well, I don't know if it's like 90%, but like close to 90% of entry. So that's for sure like an issue in America.
How much is a Euros entry?
What is it? 150?
Okay, so a Nats entry is $100.
Yeah.
And so $200 they paid because they run Truggy and thing. But I know he wants to get the Worlds at HRCR, and I can't see why it can't be there. It's a great facility, but it's going to come down to that one thing I said. That's location.
I mean, for the Worlds, the only thing that matters is there a good airport close by, really?
Some will say Spokane. All right, let's move on. Kurt Robinson, by the way, this is no disrespect to the idols because that facility is beautiful. HRCR is beautiful. I know them. They travel a lot, they race a lot, and they should get the Worlds. And it was a great nationals. Kurt Robinson, with the rear camber link on the rear hub, how does this affect the handling with the link space forward or backward of center on the hub?
I'm assuming he means like when you look the car from like the top, you see the angle. This is actually interesting one because for a regular, hinge pin car, which most 8 scale, 10 scale cars are, touring cars are a little different these days because they have like 4-point, actually 5-point, suspension. But yeah, for hinge pin cars, it's mostly about, which way the tires pulled. So the tire wants to pull the car, forwards. So the tires go in front of the car, and the sort of chassis drags back. And because of this, the angle of the link kind of dictates, which way the hub is pulled when you roll. So when you roll and the link is angled, forward on the hub, it kind of pulls the car into, more towing. And when it's the opposite, that's obviously the opposite. So it pulls the car to less towing or pushes, whichever way you look at it. So that's the thing. So usually you should have the link angled forwards from the hub. So the hub would be in front of the tower for the link angle. Because this way, when you roll, you have that jacking effect, it will actually, increase the towing. It doesn't actually increase the towing if you don't have any slop and so on, but the forces kind of naturally increase the towing. And this way you have more control of the car. So that's my like analysis of it. But generally, it's not like a big deal or anything.
Very good, Max. Very good answer. All right. Dan Nintendo says, what about the Georgia State Championship? I don't know much about it. I saw that Gene and Patrick was involved in it. It was a fun event. Upfield hard. Good. Glad you guys had a good event. Corey Jordan, is Mayako... This is a good question because I brought this to JQ and he doesn't want to answer it. Well, he always says, now is Mayako being forgotten about? Because if not, it's not having a presence at major races, especially in the US, as good as the buggy has proven to be. I would say so, yes, because I've been to a lot of these events in the USA, and there isn't, like last year when I went, there was always a Mayako presence, right? Obviously a little different. Last year they had Tebow, and they had people going to these races. They still have people going to these races. But I've had this discussion with JQ, and you need to be relevant. Like, you need to be seen at these races. If you aren't, you're just falling behind. And while I know Mayako is out there, I don't even know what's going on Mayako, but I do that for a reason, because I don't want to know. Not saying I don't want to know. I just don't want to be. When somebody asks me, which they don't much anymore, which is great, I don't have much to say. But I do agree. They need a presence in America. They need somebody to go pretty much do what JQ Racing was doing, was go there, set up tents, a thankless job, set up pits, do all that type of stuff, and then help people. And right now, they don't have people that can go do that at every race. Nor do they have a top driver in America.
Yeah, I think it's a few things. One is, I think the whole attitude within Mayako and the whole platform, like how it's made, it kind of it doesn't support people going into these events, because the whole thing is like make RC fun, test your cars and share information and do this. You have your service centers locally, and you have your local group of people and so on. But these big events is kind of like the opposite, because it's not about the racing that much. It's about, hanging out with your friends and that. And it's kind of like the opposite of why people join Mayako. Joining Mayako is more so of like having a hobby with a community. And these races, you can't really do that well, because it's so, like, for example, Silver State, you're driving twice a day. It's
Yeah, I
not
get all
really
of that. I get
appealing
all
to
of that. I get all of that. But if you're going to be a race team, you got to have a race presence. And
Yeah,
JQ,
I think
what they need first. When JQ comes to me and says, "Oh, I need a top driver in America," yes, you do, but you need a team manager that works full time to develop the team and do that. And that is somebody that's going to be required to be paid. One, who can put up with a lot of bullshit, who's going to be on beck and call of everybody, who's going to go to these races, set up 3-4 tents by himself or if somebody else, set up pit tables, all that type of stuff, have that there for people, take it all down by himself or with just 1 or 2 people, and do it all over again the next big race. And not only that, deal with customer service, deal with people who think they should be winning, deal with all that type of stuff. When you're a team manager, you're not only are you're making sure everybody's good, but you're also a psychologist, a psychiatrist. You're all these things all in one, right? You're dealing with so many different personalities, so many different attitudes, so many different egos from everybody, that it's a very hard job to do. And it requires a full-time payment. And none of this, and you need to have a card. Like, you need to be like, all right, we're going to go buy, I don't know, buckets to keep the tide up, it requires all of that stuff. Like, and when you have that, I think that's when the rest will follow. I told JQ over and over again when we have this, I said, you need a team manager, especially in America. Maybe not in Europe so much. Europe's a little different, but in America, if you ain't got that presence at the races, you just fall behind. And let's see what type of presence Mayako has at Wicked Weekend.
Yeah, I do kind of disagree, because I think the whole
last year, but you don't understand let me tell you something. And we're gonna flip this over again, because I was trying to keep this to 2 hours, but we're going over. You don't go to American races anymore. You don't know how it is. I do. I've been to European races. It's different, right? Europeans are used to having. Listen. My mic, let me talk. They're watching some podcasts, and that's how you have to handle people. My mic turn, let me talk. You go to Europe, I go to IBC, there ain't techno pits and all that stuff. It's like everybody's, Europe, you got covered pits, people sit off. They don't worry about that stuff too much. I'm sure there's some places where you go where you have tents and all that set up too, which is great. I love that. But when you go to these big races, it's about its image, man. People want to be in that, like, people from Mayako, people from SRX want to be over in that SRX camp. Not just for image, but because they feel they're going to get some sort of support out of there, right? Which they do. That's showing why the SRX team is doing good on the pro side. Shows why Techno is doing good pro right on down to sportsman. It makes a difference. We're going to have a couple Mayako drivers. I know Alex Lim, really good Mayako driver. He'll probably be all right, because he's kind of used to doing things on his own, because he lives down in Paraguay and is the only Mayako driver, and is usually the only Mayako driver going to these races. But last year, we had about 3 Mayako tents. If we have 1 this year, we will, because Blake will be there. But we went from having 3 tents full of people to probably 1 tent full of people this year at Wicked Weekend. And it makes a fucking difference. That's why these teams go out and do that, Max. And you aren't there. You haven't been to a race since 2019. It's changed. It's changed a lot. It's gotten a lot more competitive. People want to be there. They want that. If they break that damn part that nobody has, they broke it, even though they did 1,000 barrel rolls down the straightaway. They didn't land hard. They didn't break it. It just broke. They want to go complain to that team manager and say, look what broke, and they want to get that part for free. And if you ain't got that, you're behind, or sell it to them on their discount. So it's a big fucking deal in America. Now you can have the mic, and you have 1.5 minutes. So
okay. So here's the thing. I think that's kind of the whole point of having membership instead of sponsorship. Instead of having that, hey, we have a team, you're responsible for me because I'm part of your team and I'm your team driver, I drive and, so on. That whole attitude is what comes with all those things you said. Whereas Mayako is kind of more, the attitude is more to building things together, building the car together, having ideas together, so on and so on. And those kind of races don't really offer a chance for it. So the whole model is more based on having a small community of Mayako drivers at every club, So every club has that group of Mayako drivers. They drive Mayako, they, hang out, they go to these local races and so on, where they get more track time, where they know the tracks and so on, instead of going to these 7 or so big races each year. 4 or 6 this year, I think.
Well, guess what? Go ahead.
Yeah. Because I think, sure, for us, these big races are a big thing. But I'd argue that if you look at the amount of people who race RC and the amount of people who go to these big events, it's probably like 5 times bigger, the ones that don't go to these 6 big events. And I think from a business standpoint, it can work without a big presence at these events. Granted, it's not for the worse, but I don't think it's necessarily something you must have. But I still think to be a relevant brand, you should have, a one, top driver who goes to these big events, or like at least, someone like a Drake. So when there is a Mayako driver who wants to go to Silver State, he has someone to go to, and ask for advice. But I don't think you necessarily need to have like all your guys travel to all of these events like Techno does. They have like, let's say 10, 15 guys.
Guess what? That's why fucking Techno is huge in America and Mayako isn't.
No, but I don't.
I'll give you an example, and we're gonna rest this because we can go on and on. We got more questions. Mayako at least had a presence in Florida when Mike Walker and Trent Walker ran the car. Now they haven't ran they don't run the car. You don't see the only Mayako I see at a race is Andy Kirk, and I've been to quite a these FRCC races. You don't see no more Mayako tents. Trent was doing good with the Mayako car, all that stuff. So there you lost a big market. But that not only did you not lose that, but these guys also go to a lot of these bigger events in the Southeast. So now they don't go. Well, they go, but they're not representing Mayako. So you say that, but in the end, that's also what's hurt you too, right? So you go to Florida, there's no Mayako presence.
No, there's but I don't think
so. There's something going on, right? And you can say we just like to do it this way and we like to do it that way. That's fine. I get that. I understand what you guys are trying to do. But from the outside looking in, it looks like you guys are failing. And I have countless people ask me, is Mayako still around? What are they doing? I don't know. Don't ask me. They seem to be doing well. They're pretty still good. I do glimpse at the Discord. And look, this is no disrespect to all the Mayako guys and stuff out there. I'm sure there are people that agree with me, right? And there's people out there that are trying to do things like Tony Scarcella, Blake Baker, that got Raymond, what's another guy, Alex. All these guys are trying to do stuff, right? And I get a lot of people don't know what's going on in Mayako because it's all done in the Discord. It's not done like a lot of things. And I get that. But if you want to sell cars and you want to get people running your cars, you better start getting people to these fucking races because that's what all these other teams are doing. And that's why their cars are selling.
I kind
not
of
only
disagree.
because they have fast guys doing well, but because they have that support. You disagree because you are European and you do a European thing. I'm telling you, no.
It's not about European.
I'm telling you how it goes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is how it works. Well, then explain to me why there isn't fucking as many Mayakos being sold, and then you'll say, well, that's not our market. So what you're trying to say is that you're going to turn down money?
No, what I'm saying
is a lot of people running the car. That's bullshit.
No, listen, Keenan. Okay. So you're kind of putting
Let's
two
go,
things
because we don't have
together.
much time. Let's go. I want to get off this. We have a lot more questions to go. So, all right.
You're kind of connecting presence as intent and so on to sales.
It makes a fucking difference.
It makes, but it's not the same. So if you might have tens. We had the fucking hugest pits with JQ Racing at every one of these events.
Guess what? We have no pro drivers. Why did we have that? Why did we have that at JQ Racing? Why? I'll tell you why. Because you had assholes like me. Yeah, people like me and Mike Hill driving around, setting up. You know, because you fucking did it with him.
I know.
Right? You have people like me going around driving up, selfless people who I didn't race. Mike Hill helped out a lot of people. Never got any really compensated for what he done. Right? From a lot of different parties for what he done. And he didn't ask for much, but he took his own time. He asked for like fuel money, and he told no ones. Fuel money to drive the van to a track, to set up, to work. And I said, you should just go to the race on your own. Like, just go in your car. Right? So there's a lot of, the problem is you keep, it comes down to having that person, man.
Let me ask you one question.
I disagree with you.
Let me ask you one question.
We've done 6 minutes on this already, more than 6 minutes.
Let me ask you one question. You say we did all that with JQ Racing. Did it work out?
Yes, because we had a lot more people driving JQ Racing cars than we do Mayaka right now.
I highly doubt that.
Max, go look at PNB 2019 that year you went. We have more people at PNB probably than Mayako has in all of America right now.
No, Keenan.
We have 40 plus people. 40 plus people in this pits, all driving. Any person not driving a JQ in that pit was JB.
Sure, but Keenan, the point is now that then all the people were at that race. Now the people are like everywhere. Okay, that's the point.
All right. So do you have you have more? How many people in America run in Mayaka? Do you know offhand?
Well, I don't know offhand, but I know there's over 100 in the Discord of America.
No, you said 100 in the Discord. I said in America. 100 is not a big number, by the way.
No, 100 in America on the Discord.
All right, so there's probably 100 people in America. I have yet to see. Then hold on. We have to move on. If that's not important, if none of that's important, why the fuck does JQ make a big deal out of a team picture? Why does he want people to go to DNC? Well, not this year, but last year. Everybody come to DNC, do this. Why does Robert go to nationals and take team pictures and all that type of stuff? If that's not important, then why the fuck do you do it?
Well, I didn't say it wasn't important. I'm saying
that doesn't mean anything. Why don't you do it? You don't have that going in America.
No,
then JQ would say, no, shut up and listen to me, because you're wrong. You're 100% wrong on this. You are. I get what you're saying, but I disagree with you 100%. And it's going to turn into an argument because you're never going to admit that I'm right. If that is important, if that's not important, and that doesn't build teamwork or doesn't build team, then why even do it? Why do it? Why take those pictures? You know, like you're saying, what we just do this and we'll focus on this, but yet you're losing that ground too.
No, okay, listen. When you go to DNC, of course you do everything, but making the conscious choice of, do we go to all of these races and do we put that effort? Because I know for a fact that DNC last year for Mayako cost easily like tens of thousands of dollars. Did they ever make the money back from it, especially with David running in the D main, spinning out? No, definitely not. It wasn't worth the money then. Okay. But it does have its place, because when you have a group of people who want to go a race, sure, then you make all the effort. And when you have the people there, then you make all the effort. But it's not a must do, in my opinion, to go to these 6 big races. Like, why is it these 6 races that are so special?
That's because you have no idea how the US market works. You just don't. And that's fine. You don't. You haven't been to one of these races in years. Kane and I got in this argument with you last time where you haven't been. Last time was 2019. That's 5 years ago.
Sure.
Shit's changed. Shit's changed, Max.
No, it's
like
not.
Why? Then explain to me this. Explain to me this. Why has S-Works grown so big? Yeah, they have a lot of money. They pump a lot of money. They go to these races, right? They set up everything. They do all that type of stuff. They have drivers.
Okay.
So they have a more budget, but they've grown. No, I don't want to go on any further because I think
you don't need to prove you're wrong.
No, because I think you're thinking from a European standard and not an American standard. And
I'm from fucking Finland.
Listen.
I'm closer to North America than fucking south of Italy.
Yeah, but you have no idea because you don't go. And I'm closer to America than you are by far. It's an hour and 45-minute flight, and I spend way more time in America than you. That would be like me trying to tell you how things are in Finland, and I've never been.
I've been to America multiple times, and I've been at these races.
America in 5 years, and RC's changed a lot. But I'm going to leave it at that. I think you're wrong. I think Mayako needs a presence at this race. If not, we wouldn't have somebody like Corey Jordan, who's a Mayako diehard, asking that question.
Obviously, for some people, they like that. And
obviously, Mayako thinks it's important unless they wouldn't have team pictures or they wouldn't make a big deal about it. They wouldn't want people dressed up in uniforms and have the whole promise, the whole purpose of Mayako and thing is we're going to have matching uniforms and we're going to have tents and we're going to be a presence at races if we can't support. Well, here you got one of the biggest races coming up, Wicked Weekend of the year. Mayako had a decent presence last year. Well, let's see what their presence will be at the end of July. I get you. It'll be one tent. There'll be a few Mayakos there. What? And then you go, well, we're focusing on club level. Well, you just lost a big club level down there in Florida, one of the biggest places to race.
Okay, Keenan, now say out loud, how many Mayako drivers was there last year in Florida?
4.
And how many are there now?
1.
Who was the 4?
He's still running. You had Mike, Trent. You had more than 4. You had more than 4.
Mike and Trent got 3 stuff.
So you had Mike, Trent, Jake, Andy. Was he running? Then you had the Rockstar guys. You had Wofford, you had Roberto, you had Dirk Crew guys. You had more than 4. You had about 6 to 7, maybe 8 people running Mayako.
And there really is one guy now. Only
one, maybe 2, maybe 2.
Okay,
maybe 2.
Okay, Keenan. Let's math this out.
No, that's not. No, I don't want to go. You're gonna math out and say that's not a lot. Then when it comes down, I get all of that shit. When it comes down to number, you have 1, if that. No, you went from maybe having 8 to 1, maybe 0. Okay. That's what you went from. That's what you went from.
Is it better to give out free kits to have people, which is what Techno did in Europe, and then not.
But you gave free kits to these guys, right? You gave free kits to these guys. You reward loyalty, right? But what you didn't realize was that these guys also did other things for you, which was go to these races on their own dime and all that type of stuff and set up the pits and all this. Now, there's a whole bunch of.
I'm not saying all of that.
And all that stuff. We've gone on too long about this because you and I look at it in a different way. And whenever I get in this thing with JQ, he denies it's no problem. Well, guess what? That's why I don't want to know nothing about Mayako. Right? I wish you guys all the best. I'm super glad that you guys support the podcast and all that type of stuff. But I think from going to these races, I've watched your presence diminish. You had DNC, no Mayakos there this year. Why? Because JQ didn't want to go. He decided to go Silver State. Right? What would have been the more feasible race to go to be a part of, to support the people that are out there? DNC, but he chose not to go because he got mad at Joey last year, right? He chose not to go no more. So there's certain things you just don't get it, right? Just watch. And I guarantee you, and you know what? This is probably going to piss off some Mayako guys, but I bet you there's guys out there that 100% agree with me. 100% agree with me. Let's move on to the next question. No, because you're just gonna spew more of the same. You're gonna spew the same shit that I've heard for the last 4 years. Whenever, that's not what we're about. But yet you take team pictures. I call bullshit on that. Let's move on. We're moving on. Mitchell Pratt, what are your thoughts on the recent uptick in oil tracks around Australia, the Asia area region, and do you think it will migrate to America and Europe? So I just want to say that I think the oil came from America, Europe, because the English have been doing that for quite some time.
No. Oil came from Asia, actually.
Really?
Yeah. 2010 Toads in Pattaya. That was
Right. But I think Hearts has been doing that for a long time. Too.
They started a while back, but yeah.
So so when we're talking oil, we're talking about I know that Philippine Masters, they use new cooking oil. Like they use brand new oil. They use oil. So we're talking about cooking oil being mixed into this oil. I know the race that they're going to in Asia, Pine Hills Dirt, is oil as well. And I heard nothing but great things because when I heard tires last a long time, you don't need a plethora of tires to make it out there. Your car comes off pretty clean. It seemed to be good in Philippines. It's really good for places that got a lot of rain too, right? Because the rain kind of washes off. But with that said, I was talking to Tony Newland, and you know this guy MG23. I know you've probably seen him. He's sponsored like Silver State and DNC. So he's building. Anyway, it's this guy Mario, I think his name is. It's like an uber rich guy. He's building a RC facility in Pahrump, which is about an hour outside of Vegas. And like, I think you've seen this. Like he's supposed to put all these different tracks there.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
He's going to do oil. I heard that he's going to do oil tracks, oil 8-scale track.
Yeah, that for Vegas, that makes sense because trying to put water down in Vegas is not a good idea because it's going to.
I also heard that this is going to be on a roof too, so I don't know. I know he's built the track; they have the tracks built, but I am looking forward to seeing the oil thing. It is definitely a solution. It seems to last a lot longer because the oil doesn't really go anywhere, right? It kind of just mixes into the dirt. And man, Zach and the guys swear by it, and you're starting to see a lot more oil tracks pop up in Australia. But it isn't nothing new. It's been around for a while. And let's see how it works in America. And you know what? Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
I think in America the issue is that
track changes.
Yeah. Because every time you do a track change, you'd have to lay down so much oil on the track. And then you have to like bed it down really well. And I'm not sure about this, but I believe that when you dig it up, it's like really stiff to dig up. So like doing a track change would be really difficult. And you can't really water it because the oil, don't
let it penetrate. I mean, it's penetrate something. If you guys want to know more about oil tracks, we've had Zach on here before. He's explained it, but they love it. But they also designed their track where they can make multiple layouts too.
Yeah.
Swift just
I think the biggest issue is that layout change because I'm pretty sure the dirt will dry up if you put water on it. It won't suck it because the oil, what's the word for it?
Absorbs.
It doesn't absorb it. It's like
because it waterproofs the dirt. The dirt is supposed to it repels the dirt.
Because the oil and water don't mix, so it just flows off the track. We've seen videos in UK where there's just like it's a dirt track, but there's just like a puddle of water all across the track, because it doesn't go through.
All right, we have a couple of YouTube questions and IG questions. I'm going to wrap this up. What is the best two-wheel drive off-road buggy for 2024?
Probably the B7 still.
You know what? I was going to say that too. If I was going to buy a car right now, a 10-scale car, I'll buy a B7. Just because the amount of parts and people running them, you would be fine, I think, wherever you go, especially in America. So I would have to give it to them. I don't know the intricacies of the other cars, Schumacher, X-Ray, those type of cars.
Yeah, all of those have a disadvantage. Schumacher is hard to get working on dirt. Because you don't have the. Obviously, it's better these days. Not bad, but it's more difficult. X-Ray is significantly more expensive, especially for the Americans. TLR, it's very expensive because the parts are collectibles at this point. Mugen, it's still a bit of an unknown. I don't think it has catched off that well. Yokomo's,
I think they need that four-wheel drive. Once they get that four-wheel drive, people like that.
I think so too. Yeah. Yokomo is kind of non-existent. It still exists, but it's not that big. Yeah. And S-Works is kind of similar to Mugen. I think this point, some people run it, but most people don't.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think
Alright.
Associated is like the best choice for 10 scale.
So we agree on
Especially in
something.
America.
We agree on something. And by the way, I'll talk about that at the end. Next question. Do you think from Wombolt 82, do you think that that X-Ray regrets not keeping Testman? Do you think that X-Ray regrets not keeping Testman?
Well, if you look at strictly the results, I do think Testman would have delivered an equal results to Bronnefolk, or possibly even better. But I do think Bronnefolk gets paid less than Testman would have. So
I don't think. Yep, go ahead. I agree.
So I don't actually think X-Ray regrets letting Testman go, because I think he was really expensive for them. Yeah. I think it was actually a decent move for both of them.
I would think that X-Ray is saving a bunch of money right now, and what they're getting, Testman is very good driver, very popular. But I think Bronnefolk right now is more popular, and he's running more classes, right? He's running 10 ONROAD, he's running 10 scale. Then they don't in America. Well, if we're talking on the American side, North American side of things, they are lacking that 8 scale guy, right? But I have a feeling that Cav's going to go there. But they are missing that on the American side. But they aren't missing it on the 10 scale side, because you just saw Tom Rinderneck win the INS. You're seeing like these X-Ray guys doing well, like in stock. They have a really good stock team of like Stakowitz, what's his name? Kyle Go, and those type of guys. Then they have a decent mod team of Chase Lemieux, Rinderneck. Who else am I miss? I'm probably missing out a few guys there. And then don't even talk about like when you go to the carpet championships here later on this year, you're gonna have Bruno there, Bronnefolk, Gotzel, Bayer, like so. 8 scale, yes, they may be lacking, but they'll find somebody, and they would have saved money. X-Ray America saved money by not paying Testman. So I don't think they regret it, because the results hasn't been a difference in results in the last year. And this is no disrespect to Testman. This guy, John Hill, says, what's a good ONROAD car to use? I'm currently racing a TRAXXAS Fortec. I mean, I don't know what you want to race, but
what the hell is this Fortec?
It's like a ready to run car. Now they do have a class for it, I think, but I would look at, I don't know, man, Automatics, X-Ray. I don't know what class you're running, like what you're running in, but ONROAD isn't our specialty. We do apologize, so we don't know all about that.
Yeah, it depends like what you want. I think Automatics and X-Ray, because if you have now the TRAXXAS, it's kind of like a beginner level car. If you want to go like deep into racing, then it would be like an Automatics, probably the easiest. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you there. All right, let's get into some Instagram questions. That's it. Dog Days RC, should RAW allow racers to register in multiple classes with the same chassis to help increase entry counts for national championship races? For example, e-buggy, a 40-plus buggy, or two-wheel drive mod buggy. No, I think that you should leave it at that.
I think my opinion of this is kind of clear.
I don't think that's the answer. I mean, from a race track benefit, getting in more entries helps, but I think you should leave it fair as fair, right? And that's it. I think that you run one class, you make a choice. You may run one class, and that's it. You run one class with that chassis. Sorry. Naughty Boy RC, will lay-down shocks be the new norm for 10 scale in the near future?
Two-wheel drive, I can see it. Four-wheel drive, it will be more difficult because of the space in the car. You're gonna have to lay it down quite weirdly if you want to make it work. But two-wheel drive, I do definitely see that becoming more common. Yeah, two-wheel drive, I can see it.
Sam Donahue. I think he's from the UK. 68. This might be the grandfather that races. Is it time for Fenn to leave? I could be wrong. Is it time for Fenn to leave TLR and try to find a car that might just work a bit better for him?
No. I think it'll be really hard to maintain a level that he's at now with any other car until he has that level back. But I think the process will take him quite a while. So for now, I think his actually best choice is to stay with TLR, unless he wants to make a long-term career change.
I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about it at this moment, though.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to pay him, right? And he has to get results right away.
Yeah, I think for him, the biggest.
Where would he go?
Yeah, that would be the most difficult. I think the best option for him would be Associated, because he's so big in 10 scale. Or then he would have to commit to some, maybe he'd go Mayako and Schumacher. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be a mixture that I don't know how long that will last. All right. I think that's all the questions we have.
Yeah.
We missed a few. But you know what? Me and Max got off on a tangent on that argument about presence. So you know what? I am interested to see what the public feels. Do you agree with Max? You know what people's gonna say? You talked over Max. Well, I have to talk over you sometimes, Max. Because if not, I will get a word in. And I've been watching this No Fugazi podcast, and that dude's vicious. It's like, this is my podcast. This is my mic. Shut up. But it's our podcast. So,
Yeah. But I do think, after all, like, it's just a different way of doing things, and I do actually believe both ways can.
I agree with you. I understand the concept of it, but I have my doubts, and it's starting to. I have my thoughts on it. Do you agree with me on my thoughts with Mayako, or do you agree with Max? Let us know in the comments of this podcast.
Yeah,
whether you listen to the audio or YouTube. Max, I thought we were gonna be done by 2 hours, but that Mayako thing got us, because we're not done. Because we have one more thing to do, and that is the HOTRACE Tires hot potato topic of the week. Thank you to HOTRACE Tires. They got their new tire coming out and their new body. We're gonna ask you about that new body, because I did ask Joao and Ricardo about it. And I know you want to geek out on it for a few minutes before we do it. But yes, thank you to HOTRACE Tires for all their support. Thank you to Nicola, a man who's passionate about RC and making tires out of passion, right out of there in Italy as well as in North America. We thank you for the support. If you want to find out more information about HOTRACE Tires, you can. Links for that in the written description of this podcast. But this week, our hot potato topic is going to be on the top 25 RC, which Ryan Mayfield takes over the top spot, followed by Dakota Fenn. Ongaro drops 2. JC3 stays at 4. Elliott Boots stays at 5. Ronafalk at 6. Berton moves up 2. Rivkin moves down 1. Rose moves up 1. Fuller drops 2 to 10th. Ryan Lutz up 1 to 11th. All right, so after the Nationals, I don't understand why they didn't have the Italian race in this. I think it probably could have made it. Maybe didn't have enough guys in the top 50 to run it. I don't know.
I think it's crazy because they had there's 4 people already. No, 5. There's 6 people on this list only who was there at the Italian race. So it would be crazy. I think there's actually a similar amount on both.
So
the Italian race.
Ryan Mayfield, best driver in America, not best driver in the world at this moment, I would say.
I was surprised to see Mayfield actually take the top spot. Granted, I think he should have passed Fenn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was clear. But I don't think, by any margin, I don't think he has performed that well this year that you'd put him above of Ongaro.
Oh, he has 2 wins? He has PNB and Nationals win. So we're not taking away from that. 2 big wins at 2 major races. Dakota Fan has no wins this year, and he's still in second. But if you look at it in our NNRC points, it's still in first. You know what? Ryan Mayfield, Dakota Fan, David Angaro, JC3, Elliott Boots. Those are my top 5 races in the world at this moment, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's always what's good about this list, that it gets the top 5 or so right. You know, it's kind of like, if you look at the top 10, there really isn't anyone who I'd be like, that guy doesn't belong there. Maybe Bourdon and Runnefolk aren't that high up, but
I don't have Runnefolk and Bourdon in my top 10.
I do have them in top 10, but I would put Fuller ahead of both of them.
I put Rivkin ahead of Runner. I put Rivkin 6, Mason Fuller Sack. Hold on. Let me get this right. I actually put B Rose ahead of all of them because B Rose has had nothing but top 5s and a win this year, right? So B Rose would be in 6th. I put Spencer Rivkin in 7th. I'd move him up, Mason Fuller in 8th. Then I would probably put David Runnefolk, and then I can't argue with Ryan Lutz in this list either. So I don't have much to debate about this. I'm sure many people do, but I'm looking at some of the people that Wiggins moved up 3. Not bad. Cole Ogden don't make a main, but moves up 3. I don't fucking understand. Did he make the main?
No, he didn't.
He don't make the main, but moves up 3. I don't fathom that.
No.
Ryan Cavallari gets 5th in the main and moves up 3. He moves 5th in the main and moves up the same amount of spots as Cole Ogden, and they're only 1 spot behind each other. So they were literally.
I mean, but I think it's a lot. Like Seth dropped 8.
Yeah.
So it was a big. It's math, Keenan.
It's. I mean, I know it's an algorithm and all that stuff, and it's a world rankings not based on points. But hey, Ryan Mayfield on top. I think most people in America would agree with that at this moment. But if it came down to just pure points, like with the NNRC Cup, if auto drop, Fenn's in front, but with a drop, Mayfield's in second. Yeah, Mayfield's on top. So I don't know, but I do have Spencer Rivkin, Brandon Rose, and Mason Fuller up higher than David Runnefolk and Ricardo Burton. I think we can agree there, right, Max? We agree on something. Hip, hip, fucking array. Hip, hip, array. Max, I think that's all we have to. Oh, did you? All right. So you did ask about this body. Did you want to talk about it real quick, or do you want to just call it?
Well, let's leave it for another podcast. I think let's leave it. Let's get Kate on here with us if he'll.
We trying to get.
I want to. Yeah, because I want to get his opinion on this body because he's extremely nice, and he doesn't want to say anything bad about anyone. So I want to see his reaction to this body show because
I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. The way he uses his words to describe this.
He thinks he definitely thinks a lot more than before he talks, unlike me. So you know, I'm just like oh, then I think about it. My mouth catches up to my brain. My brain catches up to my mouth. They're like off sync. But yeah, I think that's it. We tried to do this I was trying to do under 2.5 hours, but we still went under 3. But we haven't had our RC news catch up in quite a while. I hope you guys do enjoy this. We do have some shorter podcasts coming up with just interviews of people, which are pretty good. Max, it was fun recording with you. Thank you for your time and your notes. I'll see you some more this week when we do some commentary, hopefully. And thank you, everybody, for your questions. We greatly appreciate it. We've been a little longer, even though I'm right. And even though I'm right, but we're going to call it a day. That's it. This is episode number 189. One short from 190. 190 is already done. 190 is already done and uploaded. So you know what? You patrons and YouTube members are going to get an early treat next week. If you wish to get early access of that podcast, join us, man. There's links for that in the written description. A big thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do this without you guys. Thank you for all the support. We greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Don't forget to hit that like, sub, notification button if you have not watched us on YouTube. If you're an audio only listener, come over, give us a view, give us a sub, a like, and a notification. If you're a YouTube only viewer, go over to the audio platform that you want. We are on pretty much all the podcast platforms. Go over there, give us a view. a review. It helps the algorithm out. Big shout out to our NNRC patrons and YouTube members. You guys get early access for the cost of a cup of coffee a month. You can support the podcast. It greatly helps us out. Big shout out to our sponsors. Without these, we can't do this. And we have links for all these sponsors in the written description of this podcast. Use them or use their links and just let them know that you heard about them on the No Name RC podcast. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Corsatec USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Stacked RC, Racecraft USA, Elite RC Productions, and Donathan RC. Big shout out to our drivers: David Runfeld, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G, Pekko Ivanen, Una Hotnen, Mason Fuller. And shout out to our affiliate sponsors: RC Box Club, Call RC, Florida RC Championships, RC Body Armor, House of RC, 36 Mood. We can't forget Rob. Robert's been really busy on his socials too. Good job to him. And I liked his vlog the other day. You wouldn't understand it, Max, because you don't speak Spanish. Yeah. And SJ Racing Builds and RC Sign Up. RC Sign Up's really busy doing a lot of stuff. Bobby and I have become good friends. And yeah, I think that's it, Max. Nitrous of Glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Lefty, the great disappointment, and Max, middleman, professor of everything, piss off of nation, and just common roach. We're out. We'll see you later. That was it.
Yeah.
It was a good podcast, Max. Good podcast. It was fun. Don't forget to hit that sub notification button, and we are out. See you guys later. Have a good weekend of racing, everybody, and be a good RC ambassador. Max and Lefty, we're out. Bye-bye.